On today's episode of Keep It Coming podcast.
I have zero filter with anything I do, and people, whether it's good or bad, it's cost me friendship.
All I spend money on are my videos. I live a very modest lifestyle.
Yeah.
My mom said some crazy shit when I came out as trans.
What's the difference between living and existing? Well. Welcome back, everyone, to Keep It Coming. I don't even know what episode we're on anymore, so we'll just throw it somewhere in the corner.
I'm coming.
We have the famous and or infamous Brandon Rogers here.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, I have been watching Brandon Rogers for the last lot of years. I don't want to age myself and or you. But it's been a long time, but we
I'm
both
19,
look great.
So you must be 8.
Yeah, and neither of us have wrinkles, so
Neither of us
it is phenomenal. It's those Latin bloodlines that we have running through us.
We're very Hispanically young, and I like it. Yes.
Awesome. So, what's up?
There, I had nothing. I'm glad you cut me off. I had nothing to say.
Would you like to fill us in on who you are and what you do for the people who may not know?
I'm YouTube cancer. It just can't get rid of me. I don't know how I've been on the platform this long. I make comedy sketches. I do videos. I play different characters. I used to work at a law firm, and my job there was to do day in the life documentaries on clients that were either dead or been injured that we would represent. Okay. And I'd have to film them in their home. Let's say you broke your leg, and I'd have to film what a day in the life was with you and your hobbling around and shit. You can't play with your kids. You make you cry on camera. My life sucks now. That's what inspired my YouTube videos, because I thought, what's a funny version of a day in the life of a character? And then I'd come up with these people that would exist horrendously, and we'd follow them around with the camera. And then now I do this, and so it's. Was that your question? I forget your question. I think
just a quick synopsis of you and your life, and how you became famous.
I didn't suck one penis to get here.
Whoa.
Not
Shayan
a single, not a nut. Didn't eat any butthole. But to get here.
Get here.
Well, I mean, you probably did to get here because your driver's sitting right over there.
Right. I know. My driver. Oh my God! Let me tell you that is a hole that makes you work for it.
Yes.
Wow.
Dang.
Oh my God.
I'd rather have that than a loose hole that you don't have to work for.
Yeah, you don't want no hallways for your hot dogs.
Yep.
Sorry.
Exactly. Just like waving in a warm room.
Yes. A warm room.
Sounds like a good time to me.
So, as far as your old content goes, I have a question that I forgot to put on our list for you. But back in the days, there was one of my favorite skits you did where you would open the fridge and the cat would hop out of the fridge. And you would make like meals out of McDonald's. Yes. Was that your apartment?
That was. And I left that fucking pancake up on the ceiling.
That is so
We threw
funny.
a pancake on the ceiling. It got stuck up there, and it stayed there until the day I moved out.
For anyone out there, I used to use his little one-liners all the the Literally, whenever my friends would say something, I'd be like, "You better shut up, or I'm gonna suck your dick."
Or I'm gonna suck your dick. I love threatening people with a good time.
Literally, that's where I would get this shit from. I got a lot of my little quips, I guess you'd say, would be from Brandon Rogers. So it actually is great to have you here. You're a big part of my growing up. That's why I'm so fucked up in the head.
Oh my God.
No, literally, he actually introduced me to you. I remember when we first started becoming friends, we would just sit and we'd watch your YouTube videos together.
Oh gosh, funny ass story. So I have a pretty big age gap between a group of my friends where they're like 22, 23, 20-nothings, whatever. They're stupid. But
and
we
you're
love
18,
them.
19.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I will never forget, I brought them to my house and we're sitting just watching TV, and I happened to be dating a boy who was also 22. So he brought his friends over, and I was like, I have to show you these videos from this guy, Brandon Rogers. And I put them on, and they looked at me like I was an idiot. They're like, what is this shit that you are playing right now? And I was like, I felt so old because I'm like, why is this so incredibly funny to me? And then we watched it this was like 6 years ago. So we fast forward and we watched it recently, and they're like, I get it now. And it's so funny because I think your humor really hits for I don't know if it's an older generation or if it's just people who have intelligence. I honestly don't know. Because some of my friends, I'm like, all right, if this isn't funny to you, then you just need to jump off of something.
Make at least 3 stories. No, Yeah, thank you for saying that. Thank you. I've always made stuff for myself and my friends, and so that's a huge compliment because I don't think any of us are smart. But I actually found out that my boyfriend has a shirt before we started dating. He has a shirt in his closet that says "Move, I'm gay." Didn't even realize where it came from.
Was that you?
Way.
That's him
When
sitting
Victor
right over
wore a
there.
shirt to Coachella. One of
that
our
was
friends
your
wore that
OG
shirt.
merch, huh?
You know what? It was Target sold out of a shirt that said "Move, I'm gay," and they didn't pay me a fucking cent. So now every time I go to Target, I shoplift a little.
Yeah,
Wow.
there we go.
Okay.
Little 5
Well,
Well,
you
you know, if you get over it's like
Reparations.
what over $900, they will. They will.
I don't give a shit. I do a little bit at a time. I do. It's like peeing
Apparently,
your
they
pants.
keep because I used to steal from Target all the time.
Good for you.
gosh.
And I
I
didn't
can't
know.
with this conversation.
I didn't know that they keep tabs of you. I'd be like, oh, they never catch me. I'm
I
like,
hope
they're
they
idiots.
keep tabs.
No, they
because
keep tabs.
I have the page of that sold out fucking shirt bookmarked on my goddamn phone.
Oh,
they can
very
keep
funny.
tabs all they want. They send the fucking manager down to talk to me.
Yeah.
I'll pull up that screenshot and shove it up her fucking twat.
funny.
I hate Target. I shop there all the time because
Yeah.
they're better than Walmart.
Yeah.
Exactly. But and you know what's funny? Both their logos look like buttholes.
Oh, you're
Target's
right.
is a little more prolapsed
I
and
never thought about
Walmart's is a
that.
little more
Yeah.
diseased. But they both have assholes. So does Arco.
Arco.
Arcos. Why all these companies have assholes for logos?
That's an attractive
Because
feature.
we also all started off as assholes, right?
We all start off as and everyone's got an asshole. You know, I don't care if
Yeah.
you got chopped off halfway through; it's got to come out of somewhere.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean?
I can't.
You know what I mean?
So this goes into our next question: is where do you get your content ideas from?
Yeah.
Oh, the world is so I turn on the fucking news. That's where it comes
Yeah.
from. It's
Yeah.
just and also my family, they're comedians. But you know, life is short. You got to
Yeah.
make fun of everything while you can because we exist briefly in this
Yeah.
small window between two eternities where we're dead.
Yeah.
Why would I? You know, in Reader's Digest, they did a study. They interviewed all these people who had like a week left to live. They're all in their deathbed. And it's like, what's your
wild.
big? It's wild.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's like, what's your biggest regret?
Yeah.
The number one through line with everyone, the most common answer was, I regret the amount of time I spent being a version of myself to make someone else or other people happy.
Absolutely.
And comedy for me is me removing all the filters and just getting to be cathartic where you're allowed to be and you're allowed to, you know, it's a safe place to express yourself, especially being
Yeah.
characters. It's a safe place to be as
Right.
loud as you want because you're not them. You know, you get to take off
Yeah.
the mask at the end of the day. But that's just me like making as deep of a footprint as I can between those two eternities. Like I want to be remembered and I want to be remembered for being myself. And I am someone who uses comedy to cope through life. And
Yeah.
so the internet just happens to be a platform that welcomed me into doing that. But yeah, it's I didn't start like I was never it felt like the world didn't understand me until I was just truly myself because I spent
Right.
years working in an office doing customer service
Wow.
and I had this version of myself that I always had to get into the drag of at the top of the day.
For sure.
And I think that's something that a lot of queer people can relate to.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, and so there was something very rebellious, very queer about me just saying, fuck it, I'm going to be myself, move, I'm gay, blah, 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 blah. And if you don't get that, I'm sorry, it sounds weird out of context. But, you know, it's just,
Yeah.
and I tell it to everyone. It's like, life is too fucking short to be that version of yourself that you think other people like. Because the thing is, they don't like it either. No one likes that version of you.
Yeah.
They respect you when those filters come off to an extent, unless you're Jeffrey Dahmer. Those filters should have stayed on. Yeah,
Wow.
Do you feel like you live in LA, correct?
I do.
Do you feel like in LA a lot of people resent happy people? Like I've noticed that.
No, they resent successful people.
Yeah, I had this conversation yesterday when we were driving to Coachella, and I was just like, "What? Why is it that whenever someone is happy, everyone is not happy for you? It's like the most
Yeah.
annoying thing." You know
I
what
also
mean?
feel like LA
But
is more
successful. Yeah.
Yeah.
LA is more individualistic. It's actually one of the most individualistic cities in our. You know, a lot of other places like where I'm from is about community. You know, family, friends.
Where are you from?
I'm from Livermore, very small, 5 hours north of here.
Okay.
And you know, when someone scored or won or got in a promotion or something, it was kind of celebrated by everyone because there was more of a sense of community in a smaller town.
Right.
Here in LA, we're all out here for ourselves. We all move out here. We sacrifice everything to be here to find success. I don't see that sense of community as much as like my smaller
Yeah.
town. And so when
For
you
sure.
do, when you, I find that when someone pops off or makes it big, there is a little bit of a, oh, well, good for you, must be nice, kind of an attitude about it. It's because we're not.
And especially if someone thinks it's not deserved or they work harder than you, then it's like,
Well,
it's
exactly.
like-
And most people think they work harder than everyone else, and it's because we all do work
my
hard.
gosh.
Anyway.
No, it's funny you mentioned that most people think that, where it's like someone else's 100% could be someone else's 10%. Like I've noticed, like there's times because I work a lot. I consider myself retired, but I'm constantly doing something. You know what I mean? I'm constantly, I have like 4 things going at once. So like my 100% is oftentimes like 100 fucking percent. Whereas like people come up to me and like, oh, I'm giving the best I can. I was like, bitch, your 100% is like 10% for me. Like step it the fuck up. Her, for example. I'm like, Shayan, you only have to show up one day a week, and she's just like, can we skip this week? I'm like, bitch, it is.
I was like, I have anxiety. I'm sad this week, or I feel bloated. You know,
That's the thing about being
sometimes
an
I get
entertainer.
bloated. I don't want to perform.
Exactly. Being an entertainer is a magical thing. You got to be there 100%. But it is. I wish we had more of a community out here. You know, I really do. I wish that it felt more familial. I guess in the gay Hollywood is a bit more familiar than straight Hollywood.
Straight Hollywood is gay Hollywood.
They all blow each other in straight Hollywood. I think straight Hollywood, they're kind of gayer than we are.
They really are low key. They're just playing more of that part that you're saying.
They're in more of drag than we are.
They really
theoretically.
are. They really are. We actually witnessed that too this past weekend. We were like freaking out.
At Coachella.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So Anthony's never been to like an influencer party.
I stay away from
this
They're
was
fucking terrible, aren't they?
They're
I say far away.
terrifying.
I hate them.
They were so we took a little something, and when you're on a little something, you see the world for in a different light. And we were standing there, and we were just like watching everyone interact. And it was the straight influencers, because I'm friends with a lot of queer influencers, and they're great, they're amazing, they know who the fuck
because they have
are.
to be, because
exactly,
straight people are just amazing when they walk in a room.
Right. And so we were standing there, we were just like watching everyone interacting with each other and this and that, and we were both like, he literally looked at me, he was like, they're aliens. They're all aliens.
They look like aliens to me.
And then we were like freaking out, and I was like, this is not good vibes. I was like, let's
they
go
don't
touch
drink,
grass.
they don't do anything. So
No.
I'm like, what? It's like, not like drinking is fun, but like, where's the fun? Like they just sit there and stare at each other, and it's like, it's so weird to me. I'm like,
and they're all thinking the same thing. They're all under pressure. They're all making sure that they're looking all right, behaving all right. And you can see that. And, I've done something at these influencer events too, and you kind of sit there, it's like a fishbowl. You're kind of looking into this society, and it is I've never gone to an influencer event and felt like I was part of it. Felt like I was part of that mix. I kind of sit on the outside, and I'm like, wow, and you could just see everyone's egos so fragilely hanging on this platter. Like, please, I have this many followers. Oh, I have this.
For sure.
And it's like, I didn't.
they use their followers as currency.
Yeah.
Insane to me. You know what I mean? Like,
especially the ones that are just known for like necessarily their looks versus like their talents and stuff too.
I've learned because I come from the world of influencers, but now I have stepped into
the OGs.
I'm one of the OGs.
Yeah.
But now I've stepped into the world of voice acting, and now I'm working alongside like Richard Horvitz, Tara Strong, people that I grew up with from like Power Rangers, Billy and Mandy.
Stop.
Like,
What?
and I'm working.
No way.
And now that I'm with this crowd. Coming from, because I used to do VidCon and Playlist Live, all the video conventions. Now I'm doing like Comic-Con, and I'm doing like, and there's a difference in these two crowds of entertainer or celebrities. I don't even want to call influencers entertainers, because that means they have to get up off their ass. But I've noticed that there are two types of celebrities. Ever. There are people who are known for who they are, and there are people who are known for what they do. And I think we're in this age of knowing people for who they are, and it largely comes from the vlogging era, where it's just a whole video about what I have for breakfast or how I do my. It's like no one cares.
Yep.
I don't. You don't even care. You're having to judge it up so you think that you're interesting in this fucking video. That there. Now that I'm working with actors, like people who, especially voice actors, it comes. You have to be talented because they're not casting you for your looks. So I'm seeing people who are getting into the industry because they're good at what they do and they care about the work. And you go to Comic-Con and people are like, here, sign this VHS, this DVD, or this action figure. Whereas VidCon, they're like, let's just get I don't know who you are, but I know you're famous. Let's get a photo together.
Absolutely.
And so there are two different worlds, and I've come to really appreciate the brand of celebrity that puts something out there that they had to work for, as opposed to just, taking selfies or like like you shirtless winking at the camera is that's not a funny video. You can't put a mustache on that. Like, so, and especially as someone who works so hard at making, comedy sketches, I'll see what certain people will post, and I'm like, I've had to hold back from just typing, is that content? What is this behavior?
Right.
So anyway, that's all to say that I appreciate it when people, especially like queer influencers, a lot of us have to, just inherently are creative and like creating something. Anyway, the whole world of...
No, I literally was telling Anthony that when we were watching Gaga, I was like, God, the gays are just good at everything.
They're just
they really are.
Yes.
They really are. Like, they really are.
Where do you think that comes from? Because I was thinking about it, and I feel like it comes from a place of living a whole life of having to prove
For sure.
that you're...
Prove yourself.
In regard with that, I think I'd correct you and say older gays. I think that younger gays are kind of losing it because they don't have that struggle. You know what I mean? Like a lot of like everything that's going on now is like our age gays. You know what I mean? Because we still caught the tail end of the struggle. Whereas like now it's like, it's cool to be gay. So there is no struggle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
once Glee came out, it was cool.
Yeah.
For sure.
There was a time I remember when people go, oh, you know what that means when he wears an earring on this side of the...
Yeah.
You know what
Absolutely.
that means?
What it was
Yeah,
saying, you
for
couldn't
sure.
wear it on the right.
Side,
Right was gay, left was straight.
or something like I don't know.
I remember when I went to go get my ears pierced, my parents were like, make sure you get it on the right side.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Can you
it was
imagine? The
wild.
90s were not equipped for trans people at that time. Like, they couldn't even handle gay people.
No, yeah, for sure.
And I mean, we've talked about
wild.
this on my personal experience because, like, okay, if I'm gonna come out, I want to make sure that I'm killing it. Like, I want to make sure that I'm successful because I don't want to be the gay one. You know what I mean? Like, oh God, he's just the gay one. I want to be the gay one who has owns a house or two in LA, who's driving a nice car, who has a really good job. This is that I can pay my mom's car payment. That's the gay I wanted to be. So I wanted to make sure I was like, I actually went off the map for like 5 years from like 21 to 25. I did made a bunch of money, did this, and then I came back. I'm like, all right, I'm gay. Now what? You know what I mean? And it was just like
for sure.
very much that. So
That's 1,000% my story too. I waited until I was off their insurance. I was off there, and I had a job I was proud of. I was making good money. And you know what the tragic thing was? They would have accepted me the whole time, but I didn't know that because I wasn't from a world where I was expecting them to know that.
Yeah.
And so-
absolutely. When I finally came out, my brother's like, you're waiting till now to tell us this? You know what I mean? And I'm like,
that's so
but
cute.
still, it's all situational. You never know. If you've been sitting there, you're living off mom's nipple and shit, and you can barely afford anything, and you're like, you're the gay one, and they'd coddle
You're
it
the
and
gay
be like,
one.
you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like,
and that's what I was afraid of too.
Yeah.
Just because you're just known for being the gay one. Now it's like if I'm successful, they have to see that first.
Right.
They have to because I might be the gay one, but I'm the gay one with my dream job.
Exactly.
And
Right,
so
I'll never forget going to the LA Auto Show, and we go through past Aston Martin, and they were all a bunch of old gays. Like I was very young, and like I remember my brother just making comments. They're like, "Dang, like." Because I did have a gay friend, and like, oh well, why doesn't your friend have money like these guys? Why is he just like the gay one? And it hit so hard. So I'm like, oh, I have to be like that gay. You know what I mean? I have to be the one that's sitting there to have like the nice car.
And I'm willing to bet that that's the struggle for a lot of queer people. They feel they have to build something of themselves so that them being queer doesn't really matter in comparison.
For sure.
Yeah.
Look at Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. You know what I mean? He told that exact story that we told right now. He said the same thing. Is that when he was coming out, he had to be the pinnacle of his family. You know what I mean? Or else he would just be brushed aside. And now he's the CEO of Apple, which is phenomenal.
And fuck the families that do that in real life, because a lot of families do. And like that shit pisses me. I mean, so many of the people that I work with are queer people that had to run away or kicked out of their homes at one point. And LA is kind of a collecting pond of that story. Like a lot of people come to LA or New York, looking for family because they didn't have it back home because they came out.
Yeah.
And so, I wish I'd come out sooner now that I know it would have been safe for me to, but I did not feel like it was.
Yeah.
I mean, safe. Did you grow up here in LA?
I grew up in Texas.
In Texas?
Dallas,
Oh, okay.
Texas.
Dallas.
Yeah, smack dab in the middle of the Bible Belt. So I actually, when I came out, I came out as gay the first time. My mom kicked me out of the house, and I had to go live at my friend's house for a little bit. And then I was there, and then basically I was trying to just kill time at my friends' houses until I was able to graduate, and then I moved to LA. So that was basically what I was doing. I would just kind of like couch surf or like go spend the night at this person's house, until I finally was able to leave. And then the moment I got my graduation thing, I was like, peace. And I left. And then we started to build our relationship again. Like my mom and I, my dad and I, it was like done, you know. And then we worked on it, got better, but then I came out as trans and then didn't talk to her for like another year. And she was just like, oh, hell no. And then my dad, it ended up being like, I want to say 8 years until we finally.
They matched on Tinder.
No. No, it was wild. I remember for the longest time I was too scared to even see my father because my mom was very worried that he was gonna like try something or go crazy or anything. So it took a while, and then eventually, you know, they all came around. But during that time of like that lack of support and that, you know what I mean, like I felt like I lashed out so much, and I was always just trying to find myself or find things, you know what I mean, and so I always was just so chaotic. And so that's why I think it's very important for like family to be there for their kids like through all the situations, because then it's like if you're not, that is only going to push them to live this very crazy lifestyle that I was living.
Right.
You know, because it's just like you're just trying to find comfort and support and like, you know, purpose and stuff. But I was doing it in all the wrong ways at the time.
Yeah, that's not your. I mean, you were doing what felt right at the time.
Yeah.
You didn't know what to do.
For sure.
And I definitely have had similar experiences where I've done things because I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere.
Yeah,
And it's
sure.
It's not. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's not. It's not easy to feel. And that sense of community is so important too.
Yeah.
We are tribal beings. I mean, we
for sure.
We thrive on communal interactions, and to feel like you're outside of that is just. And I can't imagine the people who never do come out and live a whole life in their town
for sure.
being this
my
version that they
God,
think people like, and then that's all they know. It breaks my heart, honestly.
It's
hearing
really
about
sad,
them, and I'm lucky that I found LA. I feel like I moved here when I was 23, and in many ways it feels like my life didn't even start until I moved here.
Yeah.
I felt like those 23 years were just setting me up for my real life outside of this. And I do have a sense of community here now that I didn't have beforehand.
Yeah.
People who really know me inside and out. Because back home I had community, but there was always, it felt like I was giving them a version of myself that wasn't true.
Yeah.
And here I get to just hang out with my, ass, dick, and balls fully out, and just no one's judging me here.
Right.
They say we live in a bubble, but it is a bubble full of wonderful things and people. And
So would you feel, I guess, more bad? It's not even a word. Would you feel worse for someone, worse for someone if they did come out and still weren't accepted by their own community? The only reason I say that is because it's especially in West Hollywood, it's very cutthroat being gay. You know what I mean? Like,
it is.
Yeah.
It's like, are you the fat one? Are you the skinny one? Are you this one? Like, you log into Grindr and you could just see it. You know what I mean? Like right there. Like, do you fit in? Like, are you the not mask? Are you femme? It's like, so it's like, it's almost like, what would be a worse way to live? Like just sitting in your little community. Like, yes, you have to live a fake life, but you could at least simulate happiness, or to actually, follow your heart and come to West Hollywood and then still be shot down. It's like, it's such a...
we have a very... I think that exists because we have such a large gay scene out here that there's so many gays, it starts to form a hierarchy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas
it's like high school.
It's like high school.
Yeah.
Whereas in smaller towns, even in some other big cities in this country, there's only one gay bar, or there's one. And I go to these cities when we do conventions. I'll see whatever bar is putting on drag that night in whatever town we're in.
Yeah.
And there's a real sense of community in those bars. People just, everyone knows each other. Doesn't matter what you look like or where you're from or how, everyone knows each other. And you come to LA, there's just such an oversaturated demographic of homos out here that, of course, you're going to have your ones that are the elitist, and you're going to have your lesser popular ones. And you're, because we have enough of them to like create that ranking, I feel like. And it's almost like we live in a society, especially in West Hollywood, where there's more queer people than straight people. So it is like this alternate reality where this is the world if it was only queers. And and of course, you're going to have, just like in the straight society, ones that think that they're, higher tiered, and the ones that are, And you're right. Most of it is physical. A lot of it is like, what do
Yeah.
you look like? How much do you go to the gym? How much do you party? And it's exhausting. It's very exhausting to be gay in West Hollywood, even though that's where you're supposed to be in West Hollywood. But it's
a lot of energy.
Anyway,
There's a lot of expectation for sure.
a lot of expectation, especially if you're working in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what have you worked on? What are you working on right now? Oh, what are you know? And so
Who do you know?
Who do you
Say
know?
that.
yeah.
But to answer that from my experience, like the whole like, would you? Because I feel like being trans, obviously, like it's like from my experience, it's like we technically date straight. Well, at least for me, because I'm attracted to men. I technically date straight men, obviously, because like gay men don't want me. So it's just I'd love to date a gay man. They don't want me. But it's hard. I find it a little challenging when I have to. Like, it's like I love to go to gay bars. I love to, go hang out with my people. But then it's like, technically, if I'm looking for someone, I'd have to go to a straight environment. And for example, being at Coachella at the bar, it's like you're standing there and it's like all these people are just staring at you. All these guys are just staring at you, noticing you and stuff. And then they're like too afraid. Like so many of the guys like I know I've talked to on Snapchat or Instagram, they've been in my DMs, all these influencers and stuff. Too afraid to come up to me and talk to me in front of everyone, but like playing this character and like still keeping their eye out on me. But I remember having a moment where I thought to myself, it's like as much as they are looking, like I know they're looking at a place of longing in a way of like she is free and she is like almost like that rebellious person. You know what I mean? Like it's like I am living in my truth.
Yeah.
And these people are living in just a lie.
Yeah.
And I noticed that on mushrooms.
Mushrooms can show you that shit.
And
Absolutely.
I noticed that. And I remember having a moment and
Like a
then
third
right
eye.
after Lady Gaga played, and I was like, wow, I would never trade my life and my experience to live this boring, mundane lifestyle. And I'm not trying to say that everyone is mundane or boring or whatever.
Most of
there's-
them. No, but you're
but
right.
it's like, you know what I mean? Like living that lifestyle
As-
of not feeling your truth.
I agree. I think as queer people, especially like as the trans people, we have to fight so hard to feel comfortable, to understand who we are and be realized.
Yeah.
And that when you're around people who commonly are what they think everyone wants them to be, you notice it. You notice because it's a version of your former self. You're seeing like, oh, this is that crowd that I was trying to, and they you're right. They're not self-realized, or they haven't worked on a version of themselves that they confidently believe in.
Exactly.
And I had that struggle a lot, going to VidCon all the time. I'd be surrounded by other creators thinking like, oh wow, this is, I mean, it's similar-ish. But, and also at the time when I was blowing up on YouTube, it wasn't a very queer scene.
Oh God, no. It was like you, Shane Dawson, right around that time.
All the other queers are no longer here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're still here.
John Cozart.
Okay, yes.
But John Cozart makes something once every now and then.
Okay.
That guy is such a mystery, an enigma. I couldn't tell you who he is. I mean, I've hung out with him in real life, but I don't know who he is Monday through Friday. I just know the one video he'll put out once a year.
Yeah.
But there aren't very many gays that I know personally from the YouTube space.
Yeah.
Smosh is a little gay. I know Ian and Anthony are straight. You know Smosh, the Smosh channel?
I don't.
Oh, they were there. They were one of the first ones. Anyways, there aren't many of us left.
Yeah.
So, you kind of wrapped a few questions there that I wanted to ask you.
Oh, sorry. That was a tangent.
You've been doing YouTube for, we'll just say over a decade now, coming up on 2.
Decades. Oh my God.
Wow.
So what is a really a great experience that you've gained from your YouTube sensation, I guess you'd say? Right?
I don't know.
If you could point one thing out that has really been just like life altering.
It's kind of like the dream acting career, because to get where I'm at, I had to learn how to edit, how to direct, how to write, how to do costume, basically how to run a whole production to a point where all I need to do now is hire people to do things that I physically cannot do, run the camera, but I know how to do all those things. And so when you know how to do everything, it makes producing stuff so much easier because like the biggest actors, you'll hear them in interviews and like, I'm just thankful that I'm working. I'm thankful I landed the White Lotus because I can now. We all just want to work as actors. We all just want, and I get to work every week because I get to make my own stuff. I get to dictate the story, the actors who are in it. I get to dictate, how many, if there's a sequel.
You don't have to focus on a network rules. And you
Right.
can't say this, you can't do this.
And there's the YouTube community guidelines, but they're really generous.
Yeah.
I don't know if they used to be this generous, but I've never really had an issue. It's like no swearing in the first 10 seconds and you're good, basically.
Yeah.
And then just have common sense about it. Don't show anyone slitting their wrists. Don't, no slurs, and we're good. But it is the dream job to being a YouTuber. And now that we're in the streaming era, a really successful YouTube video gets what like a TV show does on a primetime, debut. Yeah. So it's not that dream of,
I want to be replayed over and over and over again.
Right. And every device has YouTube. You don't have to sign up for it. You just have to watch an ad. And it's like, I don't know. It is the dream career. I don't have to answer to anyone. And it used to be where you'd make YouTube videos because you hope one day a TV show will pick you. Like that's the old. But now it's kind of reversing. And I had a TV show for 2 seasons. It was called Magic Funhouse, and it was like an actual union television series, and I didn't love doing that as much. You have 50 people on set at all times. Everyone has an opinion. You have the producers; they all have their opinions. Right. If you have
everyone's got to take breaks and lunches, and
there's all these
rules,
and it's just
rules,
too many cooks in the kitchen, and you can overproduce something, and it can lose the charm of having a few people like right here, right now. There's like 4 or 5 of us, and it's like you don't need. If there was any more, it would. There's a certain point where creativity starts to fizzle when you have too many people on a project. And so anyway, that's all to say that YouTube is like that sweet spot where it's like you can have a few people on set and upload it to millions and no one else to get involved. And so anyway.
So how many characters have you portrayed? If you could say.
Over 40 at this point.
Yeah.
And there's about 30 of them that I reuse.
So I would say my favorite is, I have 2, but you as the British guy is always
Lord
been
Mingeworthy. Yes. I have these big teeth.
I love it
because he's British.
And I remember when they first popped out.
And those things would always. That was just the first time I showed them popping out. Those things would always fly out when I talk. But I based him kind of off of Nigel Thornberry.
Oh my God! Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what. The British, they have all kinds of, they love their accents. I don't know what fucking accent Nigel had. It's kind of a regal, kind of like a Colonel Mustard kind of an accent.
Random.
It's almost militant. So that's it. They're all lampoony fuckers.
My second was the Grandpa Disneyland.
Grandpa.
I love that one too. Oh my
I just learned recently at a con, someone came up to me and said they were an employee at Disneyland when we shot that.
Oh really?
And that they knew on the walkies that what I was doing.
Yes.
I thought we were being sneaky and shooting this thing at Disneyland and getting away with
everything.
it, but they knew everything.
That's wild.
Yeah, they're on it.
They're on it.
So who would you say your favorite character is? That you
My favorite, it changes because I play whatever character I'm in the mood. I have a character called Sam, and he's straight. He's like the version of me if I never came out of the closet and it was just pressure cooked tightly into a diamond that this guy is, and he's straight as a dick. And I like being him because I don't know. There's certain characters I play where I can improvise them fully. I could be in them all day. I know what they would respond with in any situation. Other characters that are further from me are harder. I don't know. I mean, they're all fun to play, particularly the ones that are more comfortable. I like if a character's wearing short shorts or like a tank top, I'll prefer to play them. Some of them are in armor, or some of them are in like body paint and stuff. And so, it just depends what mood I'm in.
So, do you have like an average, like a cost point? Because I know a lot of your videos are very high production, and I watched them with our SEO over here, and I'm like, dang, I really wonder. Like,
no one's ever asked me this before, but I have to say I have never budgeted a video.
Really? So
I just throw money at it until I like it.
I like that. It's very Mr. Beast because I know that almost all of his money goes right back into his videos, regardless.
And
like
humanitarian work
Yeah, because you know that's going to make the money for the next one.
But
You know
yeah,
what I
but
mean?
here's the thing: I've never done it for the money. I've
Yeah.
never, and so when I make a video, I know how much is too much. Like if I'm, but for the most part, all I spend money on are my videos. I live a very modest lifestyle. I don't I don't like go on vacations. I just
Same.
all I do is I make videos and money. That's all
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
And so and the money goes right back into making the videos. And then so this is my week every week. Monday through Thursday, I'm producing. I am writing, directing,
Wow.
editing. Friday through Sunday,
Shayan, are you taking notes?
Mental notes. for sure.
Friday through Sunday, I am traveling to whatever city and signing at a convention, and it's a cycle. One pays for the other. One makes money for one, gains an audience so that they can come to a convention, and then it's very cyclical. And so I think it's so much more wholesome than doing no shade against Kickstarter or anything like that, but it feels really deserving that fans are paying for, an autograph or whatever, a selfie, so they can, and have this interaction with me, and that money goes right into the pockets of my actors or into the production in some form or another.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it feels like it. I'd rather go to a city and spend time with fans than like stay in LA and just ask for money, And so I also enjoy interacting with fans too. That's a huge perk of the job is just talking to people who you know like what we make.
Well, and just knowing that you brought them happiness and you brought them,
I'm a nerd who I watch TV and movies all the time. I understand what media, how powerful it is, and it's brought me and my family together. It's bonded me and my brother. We've connected over movies, and when I hear these stories from fans saying, I wasn't talking to my sister for years, and then we both found out we watched Hell of a Boss, or we both watched this show that you're in. It's really moving because it tells me that I get to be on the inverse of that interaction. What I'm used to, as a nerd, I get to now be something that other people are nerding out over. And I understand the value that has and how important connecting with a piece of media can be. So, and just my fan base, they are all the people that I was in high school, college. Not a lot of celebrities get to say that they are their fans. And it's really nice to have a fan base that I feel like I'm one of these people. And
So do you ever base any of your characters off of people in your life?
Most of them are based off of people I know.
'Cause who is Cockwaddle?
Cockwaddle. He's dead now. No. Well, I don't know. He just sits there. No, I'm just kidding.
You can't be a fruit or a vegetable. You have to choose one struggle.
Cockwaddle's both.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, just about all my characters are based off of someone I know.
That's cool. I would love to see how you would portray Shayan. That'd be great. Like a 7.5 foot tall.
Oh my God. I love that. Do you have any inspirations, comedians that you look up to?
I love John Waters. He's not really a comedian, but
I
guess he's a comedian.
Pink
But,
Flamingos,
Pink
right?
Flamingos,
Which I cannot find that movie anywhere.
Really?
Did they ban it from the US? From us?
I have it on DVD from forever ago.
Oh, okay. Because I've been trying to find it on a streaming service.
Oh my God.
Can't find it.
Have you
I
seen
don't
Pink?
know.
It's John Waters' films are the Bible, the roadmap to my work.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But particularly his older ones. So his movies in the 60s and 70s. I mean, they're just the most vile, gruesome, offensive things you can think of, and it's very queer. Like the characters, it's like my videos, the colors, the attitudes, they're all larger than life and very draggy.
Yeah.
And the characters talk to each other like, you fucking dumb piece of shit. They're just vile people.
Yeah.
But anyway, John Waters, he's
watch it
a
then.
huge,
And
huge-
Divine is and ate dog shit in one of the movies, actual dog shit off the right.
Yeah, it's considered one of the
Christ.
most disturbing scenes in
Yeah.
cinema history. It's
Yeah.
the dog, it comes right out of the dog's fucking hole,
Yeah.
right into her hand
no.
and into her mouth.
Yeah, in full
Yeah.
drag,
Full
big
drag.
giant yellow wig, like a red ketchup red dress.
Yes.
Jesus.
Blue eye, like just very wild. Yeah,
And that
wild.
was like the first time drag was depicted
Actually,
as ugly. You know what I mean? Because before then, drag queens were very beautiful, and then you have this like this woman who's fat and eyebrows up to here and just cursing and has a gun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was just such a, and everyone instantly clicked with that
Yeah.
because we'd never seen that combination
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And so
And that's where the filth of drag came from.
yes.
Yeah, I
He was
love
very
it.
influential in like the very filthy, like queer weirdo side of drag. A lot of it stems from him. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Um,
watch it then. Shit.
I know.
Jesus.
Well, that's the thing is I can't find it on any streaming service. So, but if we do, or if you want to
There's
bring your
always
DVD.
somewhere. If it's this,
you can
I'll
probably
find
find clips from it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black market.
But that's how he won me over. It was like 2007. I found clips from his movies. Like, what the fuck movie is this?
Yeah.
What am I? Because it's clearly something from the 60s. But I'm like, they didn't talk like this in movies back then.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of what inspired my YouTube. Was I wanted people to find like to see a clip of mine, whether it was reposted on another platform or whatever, and be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What is,
Yeah.
and kind of fall down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But I think it showed me the power of a brand of comedy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like in his clips, it was such a distinct flavor of comedy, and then I'm like, I want to be that unique.
Wow.
But
cool.
I
Yeah, I'll have to
love
watch
that. I mean, you definitely achieved that for sure.
I just worked with him recently. John
Really?
Waters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the show that I'm in, Hell of a Boss. He played a villain in one of the episodes, and I got to fight him.
Wow.
That was a dream. Now I can die. Well, after tonight, as I've been waiting to be on this show.
So, Shayan was born naturally beautiful like this. She's never been touched by a needle in her life.
I know, God's favorite.
Have you had any plastic surgeries or anything?
I'm very flattered that you asked.
I have to ask because you have no wrinkles at all.
Get the
and,
fuck out of here.
Like none.
Literally.
So
Oh
it's
my
actually it's
God.
either really good concealer or foundation or something
it's
injected.
good, it's
Because I
good.
live for Botox and I'm very open about my Botox.
You've been Botoxed?
Yes, I started doing it like 4 years ago and I love it. But like,
You look very natural. Well, I don't know how.
thank you. Yeah, I go. It's very
does
light. But like, yeah, I do
Botox.
just like,
Like, yeah, bro.
you know, to
Like,
prevent.
yeah.
Bro tie, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
bro.
bros aren't very emotive.
Yeah.
If you're a bro, you don't get wrinkles.
Yeah.
Emotions are gay, dude.
Feeling
Yeah, no, I've never.
nothing.
Nothing.
Jesus. Christ.
It's half of it is being Filipino,
Yeah.
and the other half is really good concealer. One Size by Patrick Star,
Patrick
who
Star.
also is Filipino.
Yeah.
We know how to have a good face, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I love
and
that.
good food. Jollibee. Fuck.
Yeah, Jolly Me.
Jollibee is one of my favorite fucking fast food chains ever.
Filipinos know
That
how
shit
to.
is so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So we're gonna do our coming in hot section right now.
Yes.
So-
Let's do it.
We got a few questions from the guests. If you had a friend who spoke to you the same way you speak to yourself, how long would you allow this person to be your friend?
Oh my god!
Isn't that a crazy question? Like, if someone was sitting there and be like, fuck, do better. God dang it. Why are you such an idiot? Like, 'cause I know sometimes I'd be getting pissed off and be like, why the fuck do you keep forgetting your car keys every time you go to the car? Why are you so
Yeah.
stupid? Dang, if I had a friend that talked to me like that, I'd probably actually keep them around. So they'd probably inspire me. But
I was just thinking I would probably keep them around too.
Yeah.
Because ultimately that voice in our head comes from it's like that overbearing like stage mom that wants us to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know a few people who don't have that voice in their head.
And they need it.
and
Yeah.
and they're not very impressive. But I don't know. How would I talk to them? I would start learning that sass back to them.
Yeah.
And I would start being a little bit more like, where are your keys? I would wait for them to fuck up and be like, where are your
Yeah.
keys, hot
Yeah.
shot?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just, if you talk to me one way, then you better be ready to be talked to back.
Yeah.
So,
Shayan.
I take direction really well. Like, and I feel like a lot of times, like, I like to surround myself around friends who have, they're friends who won't be yes people towards me. You know what I mean? Like, I need them to be like, hey, do this, do this, do this, or you need to change this about yourself or that. However, if I am in an era where I'm not ready to let go of that part of me, like I still want to like explore that toxic side of myself, you have to just let me experience that. Because there are times where, you know, obviously when it comes to certain things like, okay, fix your hair or do this or do that, that I understand. But if I'm doing something toxic, like if I'm being a little boy crazy, just let me have my moment, you know? But if you're like in my ear constantly being like, stop doing that, yeah, I'll like ignore you for like 3 weeks. Because I'm just like, let me just, I don't know. To me, I'm always like, it will add to the story and it will just all go in the book. You know?
Exactly. And you'll have a more interesting life because of it.
Exactly.
You've got to touch fire to know it's hot sometimes.
Exactly.
I'm so glad. Are you the oldest sibling?
No, I have an older sister.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was the oldest, and I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
If I had an older sibling telling me what I'm glad I got to touch all the fire to know.
Yeah.
Did you? How was your? It was your sister growing up? Was she like, don't do this, or?
No, my sister has cerebral palsy. So no, it's all good. So she can't talk.
She was a rolling punchline.
She can't talk now.
Oh, well, you know what? So you're the one saying, do this, don't do this, don't do. You're. Oh my God. Your mom's probably, at least your sister didn't tell me she trans.
No, actually, what's crazy is like, I can't even say that. My mom said some crazy shit when I came out as trans.
So the next question we have is, what's the difference between living and existing?
Living and existing.
So for this one, I think living is like you're gonna live your best life. You know what I mean? Like you're doing everything you can to actually like thrive. I feel. Whereas existing is just like going through like an NPC. That's how I see it. But I don't know.
Like working like a 9 to 5.
Yeah, and just like not really being happy, but just like, you know, just trying to survive.
Staying safe.
I think the happiness is the key ingredient there, because I do know some people that at first glance I would say they're just existing. They have their 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But then they're happy with that, because some people find safety in the familiar and having that day in, day out routine. But I'd be an idiot to say that everyone was like that. I think that there's a good majority of people who clock out of their office job and go, fuck, I gotta go see the bitch and tuck my fucking kids in and drink myself to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, life's too short to just get through it. I don't know. I feel bad for people who are, if they are existing, if they're living life like that and they're just getting through day to day. I mean, that's like that. What's that painting of the screen on the bridge? The guy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like that's like me on the inside if I had to live that life.
Yeah.
Or what about you?
I feel like there are some moments, especially when I go home to Texas, where I'm like, oh, like sometimes I wish like I just had a different path in life. Like I wish I could have been like, I don't know, a theater teacher or something. You know what I mean? Just like, and lived in like the Miss Honey house, like from Matilda. And just have like just a rose garden and stuff. But instead I chose to come to LA and
Miss Honey does not live in LA.
No, she does not live in LA. No. And then I became Miss Trunchbull, basically.
Miss Trunchbull.
Oh, yeah, and I'm out here.
I'm
like,
a little fat kid eating the chocolate cake.
And I'm Danny DeVita.
I chose looks.
Oh my God, real
yeah, she's so good. Sometimes I do think I look at people who live that lifestyle and I'm like, I'm a little jealous of that, because I feel like you can make the most out of that. It depends, like, you know.
Some people really like. I mean, I asked my mom has kind of that life, and I was talking with her about it, and I know that she's really happy doing that. And I like, for me, I would go crazy, but I just think it all depends on what you enjoy in life. Like you're right, there is something kind of, and I do kind of envy my mom for that, because she's living a life she loves, and it's a life that's easy to live in this society.
Yeah.
We have a society that says to live that life, and so if you're happy doing that, you know, more power to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That was our coming hot segment.
Yeah.
So don't forget to ask us some questions on any of the platforms.
Hope
Don't
I
know which
came in
one.
hot.
But all of them. So the question I want to ask you, we've been really deep on this, so I want to keep it light, but I also like asking like the random questions.
Yeah.
So, like, when was the last time that you cried? Because everything you do is very comedic. You know what I mean? So people see like the highs of you. Like, is there a time where you kind of sit down and you're like, you know what, I need a good cry, or is just
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I don't know if I have cried this year. I'm trying to think of.
I'm same. But
I'm trying to think of the last time I cried. Okay, so I actually remember I was on the phone with my assistant, and I had a really bad weekend. I was doing a con, and I forget what happened, but I got back home. I landed in LA. I was having a horrible night. This was in December, and I was driving home, and I found out that my friends had made a video, which is fine. We all make videos. We're always making videos, but I found out they had made a video without me while I was gone, and it was this like I don't know what it was. I never get emotional about this stuff, but I remember being on the phone with my assistant Liam, and I was like, I was left out of the video. And I felt like I felt because at the time I was single, and I was like driving back home to my like house by myself, and like was and
Were you picked last at sports when you were younger?
all the time I was
Probably
picked
what
last.
triggered it out. Yeah.
And I don't like, and also I lived right next door to a park, like a playground. And so if all the kids would go and hang out without me, I would have to hear it from my bedroom. So like when people do stuff without me, it really it does kind of trigger me. And so I just and at the I was and also when you do these conventions, you're talking to so many people.
Yeah.
When you get home, there's like a deafening silence to going back home to your place by yourself, and it is hard to like bring your emotions to like back to introvert and go back to here. And so anyway, I think that was the last time I cried, was feeling, it was just sheer loneliness after a weekend at a con. But when was the last time you cried?
Oh, girl. Like, literally every
what
day.
time is
Like,
it?
Probably before you came here. Yeah, no, I'm an emotional person. I'm actually the opposite of you. Like, if someone were to like go do something without me, I'm like, period. I didn't want to go.
Oh yeah.
Literally, whenever people invite me to go do things, birthday dinner, anything, I wait for that text of like, are we still doing it tonight? And I'm like praying, please cancel. Please cancel.
Literally.
I don't like to leave my house. I don't know why.
Something in LA I've noticed, if you don't text the day before, it doesn't matter how many times you've confirmed plans, if you don't text the day before, it's off.
Yeah.
This
so,
one is really good about his communication, I will say.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we call him assistant or boyfriend? I don't know. When you say assistant, because you booked him, publicist. Okay, cool. He's like, I'll just stay quiet right here and let you answer this one. That was great, but no, he's really good about that. So,
but going back to that with because you seem like a very healed comedian. Because most comedians I've met it comes from a lot of trauma for sure. But it seems like a lot of your content comes from just like observation of like the world, and what you see is like, I don't know.
You can be funny and untortured. You know what I mean? Like, comedy has always been a way that my family deals with everything. And so I've never known a life where it's, this is serious now, we can't make jokes. Like, even if things are serious, that's when you should be making jokes. And so I don't care if I make a joke and someone doesn't find it. I didn't make the joke for you, bitch. I made it for me. What was the question? I'm already forgetting the question.
I was just saying, like, you seem like very healed. You seem
like, there was nothing really to heal. I mean, I still have bad days, obviously, like everyone else does, but everything is a joke to me.
Yeah. Perfect. I love that.
What sound, and this goes for both of you guys or all of us, but what sound sends shivers down your spine? And I brought this up because when you talked about poop coming out of that dog's butt, I actually got goosebumps because it's so gross. Like, anything that has to do with poop, I can't. I don't know why.
Yeah, because you can hear that slimy sound when the turd comes
out.
out.
I'm just like, no. Or like nails on a chalkboard. But if you have like a sound, probably nails.
Chalk on a chalkboard.
Chalk on a chalkboard.
I can't draw. I cannot draw on a chalkboard. In school, if someone asked me to, I wouldn't do it. There's something about the texture. Or chalk on a sidewalk. Anything with... Like, I have a hard time eating a fucking tum. And so I don't know. Chalk is something very. I can't do it.
Mind if I accidentally like rub my nail, like I go to unlock a car with car keys, and my nail hits the paint, and it like does that.
You don't
I
like
can't
that?
do that.
No?
It will
know what
ruin
you
my
mean.
whole day almost. Like literally, I'm like it's gonna replay through the rest of my fucking day, and I hate it.
The car paint.
Yes.
You scratch
Yes.
on it. There is something like squeaky hard about it. I hate that texture.
No, for mine it's like okay at the gym. Like if you take like I don't know what.
Sounds the sound of like when her car gets declined.
Well, that too. Or being told no. No, but like a cloth on like a dumbbell. Like if you were to take a cotton cloth, and it's specifically a white cotton
Does cotton
cloth
make noise?
on a dumbbell,
What?
like on the metal part of the dumbbell. I don't know why.
That's such a specific.
No, yeah, it
fucking
makes
sound.
my whole like this part of my face lock up. For
Cloth
some.
on a dumbbell.
Yeah.
Something tells me you don't go near dumbbells too often.
No, I'm telling you, it's like it's so specific, and it's a I don't know why.
It's almost like SpongeBob rubbing two pickles together. Like squeak squeak.
No, but yeah, no. Next time you're there, get a white cloth. You know those fuck ass cloths.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get one of those, and rub it against the bar, and you will gag. I gagged.
Okay.
That's interesting. Why do we react this way to things? There can't be a survival reason for this. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I love that you think in survival in like old school. What's it called? Like animalistic terms. 'Cause that's how I sleep. We talk about this on the podcast all the time.
Yeah.
Like I have to sleep like a caveman. Like
Yeah.
it has to be pitch black. So I have like my eye mask. It has to be freezing cold. I have to be on like my bed is very hard because it's like back in the days we slept on the ground. You know what I mean? Like none of these soft fucking beds that you sink into. You know, and I've never had back problems ever in my life. You know what I mean? And you know my skin looks good because I don't lay on my stomach, which
He turns
stretches your
on
face back.
sounds of dinosaurs too. Literally.
Literally,
Wild.
I have a pterodactyl playlist.
oh my god.
But no, I listened to like Joe Rogan podcast once, and he's just like, you know, humans weren't made to do these things, and it was like sleeping in general. It's, you know, you slept in a cave when you were younger. That was it. You know, and I'm like, oh, I want to recreate a cave in my house. But I've noticed twice already. You're like, oh, humans aren't, or like back in the day. I'm like, oh, that's cool, like that.
Well, I feel like everything we do that we didn't ask ourselves to do is like survival related, you know. And so I think of this cringing shit when we hear certain sounds. What the fuck is that coming from?
Well, it's probably because when we were created or whatever, there weren't chalkboards, so this is like a new sound to us. So maybe that's why, like, we're afraid as humans or monkeys, even we're afraid of what we don't know. So it's like, what is this noise?
What is a weird thing that you do love?
Weird besides sucking
For
dick?
me, it's that's sucking dick isn't weird. It's weird if you bite it off.
What?
It's weird. It's weird. No, I like the smell of gasoline.
Oh, I could say the gasoline.
yes, yeah,
definitely.
I do too.
This is a weird question. Do you like the smell of your own farts?
Ew, I don't. Well, I don't fart.
I've heard actually studies that yes, you do, bitch. I've heard it. We actually have a sound fucking bleep on it that we were using whenever you would
Okay,
cuss.
I was on probiotics.
We would put our fart in there.
No, I was on. I was on a lot of.
But it's like the study
antibiotics.
that people actually prefer the smell of their own farts. It's like a weird thing.
It's not true. I much prefer everyone else's. Here's the thing. We're designed to not like that smell because you're not supposed to eat your own shit.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I feel like that's a survival instinct.
I didn't
so
know
if someone
that.
likes the smell of what's coming out their ass, eat shit and die, bitch. You're weird.
Wow. Well, there's a few people that like that.
Oh yes. Well, this podcast doesn't come out in Germany, does it?
Literally. So Brandon, do you collect things?
All the time.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's one of the weirdest things that you've collected, or did you still collect?
Oh my God, colognes.
Oh,
I have,
I'm
that
a
was
cologne
sad.
collector.
so many
Same.
fucking colognes.
Ooh, what's your favorite
right
right now? Because I know it probably changes.
I have one that's Salt and Straw, the ice cream. Straw.
Yes.
They have a cologne.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. You know that
No
smell? Whatever they
way.
fucking pipe into the air when you walk
Sugar.
past them.
Salted malted or what are those
that
cookie
scent-
caramel?
It's
that
that
one?
waffle cone scent. That is my favorite. What about you? What do you collect?
Oh my God, I live for a Baccarat Rouge 540, but I also Tiffany for Men's Sport, which I discontinued like 7 years ago, is one of my. I'll let you smell it when we go inside. It's phenomenal. But
Holy shit.
I live for
Is
a
it
good
Tiffany?
cologne. Tiffany for Men, the sport edition. It's like the blue bottle.
Did y'all ever have Paris Hilton for men?
Oh, of course, I still have
Remember
it.
that?
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but I
God.
never smelled
That
it.
was
Yeah,
so
it was a
iconic.
good one.
I
A
still to
Clinique
this
Happy,
day-
always a good one.
Oh my god!
I still use Enrique Iglesias's.
Do you really?
Mhm,
Oh
it's
my god,
good.
David
Oh my
Beckham had a good
God.
one too. It was a purple bottle. I just love that,
Fierce,
too.
Abercrombie,
Of
Aqua de
course.
Jo. Aqua de Jo triggers me because that was my boy scent.
Shayan only collects one things, and it's like broken boys. That's it. Because she actually is a minimalist. You go into her fucking house, and it's like
Yeah.
there's just like fake fur rugs all over the place.
Fake fur, no. Well, I mean, no, it's they were sheared. They weren't killed. Okay.
Even if
They were
it's the hide, they could still be alive.
yeah. No,
know?
they
That's
weren't
why
killed.
I like Jello and glue because it's really just the hooves. We don't know if they're dead.
What else do you collect? That interests me. I like when people collect things. Like I have like an interesting. I collect like bills, like dollar bills that have like the blue
does.
labels on it and stuff like that.
I have
He
a
has
whole
the-
stack of twos,
Oh,
$2 bills.
yeah.
And I don't Pokemon. I still have my Pokemon collection from
Oh,
when I was 10 years
nice.
old.
Hell yeah.
What else do I collect? Really
Souls.
bad exes. The shit from my videos. You should see my place. It's
that's-
just
I was actually meant to ask you something like that because we have friends that are influencers and they're constantly fucking filming. You go into their houses, they have entire rooms filled with like crazy as shit, bouncy balls and 1,000 water balloons
Yep.
and like Orbeez, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like
Yeah.
shit that's like wild.
I once went to David Dobrik's house, and that fucking place, the kitchen. Very rarely do I go into someone's house for the first time and not care what I take from their kitchen. It was so much opulence for someone so skinny. I'm like, he just had these big vases full of Twix and Oreos, and just I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. But influencers have the most excessive homes full of, like you said, just 1,000 of something they use for a video, and then you don't want to throw it away, but then you'll just leave it. And every video has so many, at least for what I do, there's so many props and costumes that come with these videos, and then I'm not going to get rid of them, so they just end up being, my whole place is like a weird museum of shit.
That's
from
awesome.
My vids.
Who's your favorite influencer you've ever met?
Oh, my favorite. I want to say, well, I wouldn't say Jinx Monsoon is an influencer.
Oh
but we
my
met
gosh,
through,
yeah.
We met through social media, and she has to be she has been such a good friend of mine for the last like 6 years, and she's one of the few famous people you meet, and they're so much cooler in real life than they are on TV.
Yeah. She's so talented too.
Just that's what I mean by there are entertainers who are just that's all they have to be is themselves,
Yeah.
and there's Jinx Monsoon who like can sing and act and dance and make costumes. She's just a powerhouse of talent, and so people like her I really admire that just work hard at making their own brand. I just think is so cool.
What about least favorite influencer?
My least favorite influencer, probably me 15 years ago.
Oh,
15 years ago, me.
15 years ago. You went through a weight loss.
Huge
phase, too.
weight loss.
Yeah.
I was
Really?
technically I was obese.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
I was technically obese, and I didn't even lose. Like, I learned to stop listening to people telling me how to lose weight, and then I lost
Oh my
it
God, yeah.
on my own in
Absolutely.
a way that worked. People say like if you were gonna run, you have to be running for at least 20 minutes or at least a half hour if it's gonna make a difference.
Oh yeah.
Bitch, I ran for 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And that's what it did.
Yeah, yeah.
10 minutes a day every day. I just ran for 10 minutes and I just cut out sugar and the weight fell the fuck off of me.
Wow.
And it, for the longest time, I didn't work out because I'm like, oh, well, if I'm not going to run for a half hour without stopping, that's way too, I'm just not going to do it. And once I started just doing bite-sized fitness,
Yeah.
really bite-sized. To this day, I only do like bite-sized. Like my workouts are like at most a half hour long or something. But yeah.
Anything is better than nothing. You know what I mean? Just showing up is 90%.
If you show up every single time, it does you do make progress, even if you're just doing a little bit. And so, yeah, I try and tell it to everyone who's like trying to either gain muscle or lose weight or whatever to their bodies, and just do what you can.
Yeah.
Because then you'll be happy at the end of the day that you did something.
Yeah. How much weight did she lose? if you
So
don't
I was
mind
260, and I am now 170.
And you're tall.
So yeah, 6'1".
Most
So
Filipinos
it's-
are not very tall.
Most, that's crazy. I go every family reunion. I feel like the fucking Korean building downtown. I'm just like overlooking everyone. They're all up to here on me.
Yeah.
And
It's trigger. I'm the tallest person in my family.
Really?
I'm like, of course they made the trans girl the tallest
That's
person.
right.
The biggest head, the biggest hands, the biggest.
oh my god.
Yeah, they really fucked me up
biggest
on
dick.
that one.
That just means you're consistently closer to heaven.
But I also just think too, like, also the type of men I'm attracted to are more developed men. So I'm like, period. There you go.
Yes.
They have, taller, all that stuff. So I
Yeah.
just say, the rest of my family, they didn't eat their vegetables.
they didn't eat
and
their
I did.
vegetables.
So, do
Yeah.
you find it? I mean, it's a two-part question, I guess. Relationships. Have you been married ever?
Hell no.
Okay.
I have not.
Do you find it difficult to have steady relationships being a comedian?
Steady relationships are difficult, but not because I'm a comedian. Trust me, it's the one
Okay.
thing that holds my relationships together is that I'm
Really?
funny.
Some people, I just feel like they can't handle being funny all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people like the serious aspect of it. So with comedians, like, you always find the light, like you said, and everything. Like, it's the best time is to be funny. And sometimes
Yeah.
I could imagine someone be like, "It's time to be serious, Brandon. Sit the fuck down." And you're like, "Well, you're gay."
yeah.
Yeah.
And that conversation has happened before. No, I'm always trying to make my boyfriend laugh, whether or not it works. That's.
Oh my God.
I'm always.
That's cute. I like that.
Well, I mean, just anyone in my proximity. I think it's boring if you're with someone who doesn't know how to comprehend a joke.
Yeah.
Those people don't last long in my life.
Yeah. No, for
my
sure.
God.
But yeah, it hasn't really being funny about stuff hasn't really gotten in the way of anything substantial. At my grandpa's funeral, I had the funniest eulogy, and it killed. And
I love giving funny speeches. I was the best man at one of my friends' wedding, and I basically talked shit on both of them, but I killed it. I was like,
no.
it was great.
No,
but
not
yeah.
at my wedding. Have you seen that one of like the husband that was like trying to make a joke like while like giving his vows to his wife?
what happened?
And he was just like, "Yeah, I love you, especially when like you're in the kitchen, you like drain my balls."
Oh
I'm like,
my
stuff like
God.
that. And I was like, "Oh hell no!"
Wow.
If anyone were to, if my husband were to talk to me like that, I would walk the fuck off. Yeah,
Oh
no.
my
There's
God.
a time and a place for
Well,
sure.
Right.
And also, he just wasn't funny.
well, that's what I'm saying. If you're
he should have
gonna-
been his ghostwriter.
I should have written a fucking wedding form. Yeah, I think if something's gonna be offensive, bitch, it better be funny.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's,
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
yeah.
Speaking of that, so you just saw John Mayer at Coachella, and he opened with that. If your legs don't work like they used to before, and I remember a wedding DJ played that at a wedding where they were both in wheelchairs, and it was their wedding song was "If Your Legs Don't Work Like They Used Before," and I was like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!" Like that's the opening song, and they're both in wheelchairs. I was like, "Damn, that's literally that's
yeah,
talk about
that's-
good comedy."
yeah, that's clever. Oh my god, my at conventions sometimes people there was this girl that came up to me in a wheelchair, and it was a motorized one. It was very fast, and she said, "Can you do a video where you say where's my ride?" and I roll up and you jump on the back and we zoom off. And so I posted that, and now whenever someone with the motorized wheelchair comes up, there's always a bit that they want me to do where I like run and jump on their chair and we ride off into the
Oh
sunset.
my god! I love that.
It is. Let me tell you, it is exhilarating to go zooming around a con on the back of a wheelchair of a
bet.
stranger.
I bet.
Yeah. Oh, I love
So you have probably been to many of these interviews, and you've had many questions asked of you. Have you ever had have you ever wanted someone to ask you a question that they not asked you?
Oh God, not really.
'Cause I know that there's sometimes where like we'll go to interviews and I'm like, dang it, they should have asked us something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, why didn't they ask, how big Shayan's dick is? Or
What?
something like that. But like, I always wonder, like,
I not really. I don't even. I never have an agenda when I go onto these things.
Yeah.
The time flies by so fast. I've been meaning to ask how old are the two of you? Because I feel like we're the same age, but I feel like I'm probably a lot older than both of you.
I'm 33.
Okay,
Yeah.
33.
35.
Oh, okay. So we are the same. I thought the two of you were younger. I honestly did. It's the Botox.
No, definitely is the Botox.
No, I'm natural.
I know
so
you're
it's just,
natural. I know.
Genetics.
It's just I'm 36, so we're.
Okay.
You would have been a junior. I was a senior, and you would have still been in middle school, or
Yeah.
right around there.
Yeah.
Yes, he would have.
Yes. Yeah. A fat Persian kid with
Were
a
you
unibrow.
fat too?
Yeah, I was.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, she was thickums. Yeah.
When I was in middle school, in PE, they would weigh us down. They would make us line up, and we'd have to get on the scale, and then in front of all the other kids, and we get weighed. And I was 160, which is just 10 pounds lighter than I am now. And this is when I was a little kid. I was a very heavy kid. My nickname for that whole school year was 160.
Oh,
That was my nickname.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Yeah, isn't that insane?
That's pretty wild.
No, yeah, I was always pretty skinny growing up, and then randomly I just blew up in middle school because I was being bullied really.
Shayan, what was your nickname growing up?
Yeah, I was bullied really bad in middle school for sure.
Middle school. I mean, middle schoolers are just the worst people.
It was bad, and so then I just like found comfort in food, and I just was like, and I was just eat.
That's funny because in middle school I was the kid that sold candy, so I'd have been selling Shayan the food.
And I would have.
I had this big ass backpack, and I'd be like, "Yo, you want some gum for 25 cents?"
You would have been that kid.
I would eat like 5 of those. Do you remember the yellow ice cream? It was the cookie crunch.
Yes.
Oh my
Ice
God,
cream. You
that's
remember that
wild.
with the yellow packaging? That was my shit.
Did you bring a cooler with you when you sold stuff?
No.
We had a guy in school but he had a roller cooler with like drinks and
damn,
shit.
that's
in there.
gangster. No, I actually got in trouble. I had to do it like low key, like kind of like opening my jacket because they were like, "You cannot do this." But I had the biggest backpack, and I would go to the 99-cent store and steal it, and then I would sell it back. It was wild.
Wow. Not much has changed. You still carry a backpack with candy and sell stuff, right?
At Coachella.
Coach. Someone comes up, you can't be selling candy at Coachella.
Oh my God, literally nothing's changed. Young you would be so proud.
I just don't sell to children.
Sure, there's an age limit. Oh my God.
So where does Mr. Brandon Rogers see himself in 5 years?
God, Netflix better cut me something.
Oh, that would
because
be
they're
I see
giving
that a
specials
lot
out
of-
to
yep,
everyone.
They really are.
And I'm just like putting out a fucking. I put out so much shit on YouTube that I'm just like, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but like,
No, but
it's not bad shit I'm putting out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
So I would love for one of those fucking platforms to just find me. But you know, if I can keep doing, gay shit like this forever, I'm happy.
Yeah. So if I could ask you on advice, so Shayan and I have now been we're coming up on a year in 2 months on this. And we have made $100 on this podcast. I'm not even exaggerating. We've made $100. But we have really good guests. You know what I mean? We have an SEO that costs a fortune. And there's a lot of people who are up and coming, and podcasts are a new thing. The reason when we started doing this is Shayan's idea, but I also asked ChatGPT about podcasts, and it's like podcasts are going to explode by 400% over the next 2 years, blah, blah, blah.
They're gonna explode.
They're going to just blow up on the market. Yeah, apparently.
My uncle is going to come in and just fucking get rid of everyone.
I can barely get my uncle to come.
Oh no, you got to use your right hand. I know. Gotta fondle the balls.
Yes. Oh God, if my uncle had any.
But I noticed that on your platform you have over 7 million followers or subscribers, I could just say, on YouTube, and then you're saying you're not raking in the money. So I always wonder, like, where are people getting all these massive amounts of money from? You know what I mean? Like, at what point does it kind of like the scale tip, and you're just like, here we go, I can like buy my nice house that everyone seems to have in the hills. You know what I mean? It's such a trip.
The YouTuber with the mansion was kind of a thing of like 10 years ago. I haven't seen a lot of the YouTubers that I would go to that had big houses. They are no longer living in LA. They are burnt out. They are pedophiles. They are canceled. There was something, they've all every YouTuber I know now lives in a moderately sized house or apartment.
And they're working their ass off.
It's
literally a constant thing.
I think the age of the immensely wealthy influencers kind of a little bit behind us. I mean,
think so,
there's
too.
always going to be influencers that are raking it in, but
Right.
it's not like what it was before.
Yeah, I really think you need to funnel to something else. Like, we funnel to her OnlyFans. Like, that's a big thing. Like, I know that we just started her OnlyFans like 3 months ago, and it's doing very well, but that's supporting the cost of the podcast. You know what I mean? Because obviously, it's expensive to do this shit. Like, you know what I mean? These mics aren't free.
production.
Right.
So
No, this
it's
is
like-
expensive equipment you got here.
So that's my thing is it's like, we also, like you said, we didn't do it for the money. We just were like, you know what? Let's do a podcast.
do
We
it.
have interesting lives. We do crazy shit. That's
Yeah.
like, let's just do it. But at some point, it does get expensive. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, man, like, we've never asked someone this question because we haven't had anyone who has like the celebrity that you have who has been doing it so long. It's very interesting to me that, even you're saying right now is like, you a video pays for the next video, and you live a very modest life,
Yeah.
It's interesting to me.
Well, I definitely don't. I mean, there are months that are really good on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then there are months where it's like, okay, this was a low month. Luckily, now that I'm doing voice acting, that's my main thing.
That's cool.
And
And you know what? She wants to become an actress. Like that's her big thing.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. I think life is too fucking boring to just be going through it as one person or two people. I think life, you should be as many people as you want. And I think that's the joy of being an actor is like, okay, I want to be a fucking corporate woman in charge of a company. I want to be a little kid, or I want to be Jeff Goldblum. And I want it's so I think it's lucky if you can make money doing that, and it's very hard because there's no set way, and it is an ever-changing field. YouTube some years is more lucrative than others. Right now, TikTok is, but even TikTok, you really can't make money.
Right. There's so many rules and stuff to it too.
I remember like 10, 15 years ago, there was like YouTube seminars and shit that they were teaching.
Yeah.
That would it is a game where the rules change every year.
Yeah.
And it's hard to predict what'll do well and what won't.
Yeah.
But my thing is if there is a wave, ride the fuck out of it. Because you don't know how long. People think they've made it, especially YouTubers, like influencers in general. They get fame or they get money. They think I'm set, and you're never set. It is a plant that you have to keep nurturing.
Absolutely.
And it'll die quick.
It is a job. People don't realize
It's a job.
It's a fucking job. They
Yeah.
think it's like with it's the same thing with people getting on OnlyFans. They think they just put a few dick pictures out there just because they're hung like a horse and all of a sudden they're rich. No, it's a fucking job.
Yeah.
Like everyone's got, well, not everyone, but a lot of people got big dicks. You know what I mean? What does yours do that's different than all the other ones? You know what I mean? Like, can you make a balloon animal out of it? No.
right.
Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
I've heard really good things about OnlyFans, though. That it is a good.
That's
like,
if there's something that I could say you could jump on and make money within 24 hours, it's OnlyFans. And that's, you can't say that for really anything else. You know what I mean? They have to work, you have to work. OnlyFans, it doesn't matter if you're hot, you're ugly, you're missing toes, you can make money within 24 hours. It's the craziest fucking thing.
Thank God we live in a world of perverts because there's something for everyone.
It really
for
is.
sure.
Well, I mean, our podcast is relatively sexual, and we've stayed away from sexual questions with you. I do want to ask one question, though.
We can go into sex.
Well, nothing too crazy. Cheyenne has been an escort for most of her adult life.
Yeah.
I have never personally been paid for sex, but I am on the opposite. I like to pay.
No one would pay me for sex.
But my question, have you ever been on either ends of those, which you just answered?
I didn't say no one did. I said no one would. No.
And you put your earplugs on over there.
One time when I was a teenager, I didn't have my license, and I snuck out of my house one night. I met a boy on Craigslist, and all we did was make out. We made out, but after making out, he gave me gas money so I can get home. And for at least a year, I was in my head going, "Am I a whore? Am I a whore
so
now? Because I
funny.
took gas money." I was only like 16, 17 at the time, but like I was
You were
such a
15
prude.
and he was 30. I get it.
I was
Oh my God.
Hey, we've been there. Okay.
Yeah.
But have I ever? That's the closest I think I've come for some kind of a transaction happening during sex.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've paid people to stop having sex with me.
You don't pay them to come. You pay them to leave.
15, 20, get out.
That's just, you pay them to leave. That's it.
Oh my God.
They paid me to come, and I gave the money right back so they could leave.
Oh my God.
They could go.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Wait, so I want to ask, when was the moment where you realized that you can actually make a career out of this?
2009. I got my first paycheck on YouTube. That's when they started doing I think it was 2009. That's when they started doing the YouTube partnership program.
Okay.
And it was a very new thing. It was like, oh my gosh, you can make money doing YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
up until then, YouTube by everyone was considered a hobby.
Okay.
You know, there was nothing to be.
And you started in what year?
I started in 2006.
2006,
So, yeah,
okay.
E-Bombs
2009.
World area.
In fact, E-Bombs World was a big inspiration because it was pure. Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh.
That was it.
Salad fingers. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah,
I remember all of that.
He's still making shit
No
today.
way.
Yeah,
And then
David
he's-
Firth.
Wild.
Your daughter, she came to my house. She kicked my dog. I won't do that.
Kicked my dog.
Oh yeah, you kicked my dog.
No, no accents for you.
Fuck you, yo. You do not have to tell me to fuck.
Oh my
I remember
God.
all those. Yeah, they're pretty wild.
That was great. I kind of do miss E-Bombs World in the sense that it curated comedy for you. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like you had to dig through and sift to
Yeah.
find something good. It was once a week, new
Yep.
videos.
Yeah.
I miss rotten.com.
I had a fan. Someone came up to me this weekend in my line, and they had a Rotten.com T-shirt.
Oh, that's great.
With several of the images from Rotten.com.
No way.
On it. Yeah.
Damn, that's wild.
I remember I saw so many beheadings, dead
Yeah.
prostitutes, people with their
Two
eyes
Girls, One
hang-
Cup, I think actually originated on there, or One Man in One Jar, I think.
One Man, One Jar.
Yeah, yeah.
That's classic.
Wow.
Yep.
I miss Buy Latin Men and Bang Bus. Bang Bus was a good one.
Yeah, Shayan was on both of those.
Buy Latin Men was my favorite, though. That was a good one. Whatever happened to them? Are they still
By
around?
Latin men, they
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
buy Latin men. That's what should be called. Buy Latin men.
Oh my god! But so you were doing this for 3 years, and then in 2009, that's when it officially you
and
realized.
my first paycheck on YouTube. You have to make over $100 to get a
Yep.
paycheck.
It's still like that.
It's still like that. Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yes.
remember that I got my first paycheck. It was a few $100s, and I used it to buy a plane ticket to Chicago and meet my first fan.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and that
Wow.
was, and that was a big deal. Being able to buy something with money that came from. I still remember the check. This big green check that came in
that's
the
cool.
mail. It was the best paycheck of my life
Yeah.
because
Damn.
it was the first time that something I loved earned me anything, and that was really something. And then from then on out, it slowly started to turn into a business.
Wow.
And then one day it really blew up. The Fine brothers discovered me on Vine, and
Okay.
they blew up my they did a post about me, and then I had 17,000 new followers the next day.
Damn.
Wow.
So that's what was a wave. I was like, oh, this is a wave. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but I better start. I was pumping out content weekly at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
What would you say was your most expensive video to make?
Oh my gosh. I did a series last year. Once a year, I'll do like a saga of some kind. And last year I did a one called Class Acts, and the last episode of this series, because this is a show I started in 2009.
Oh, wow.
And then it was on hiatus for like 14 years, and then I brought it back with the same actors and everything.
Yeah.
And I wanted to wrap it out with a big shebang, so I like called in all the celebrity cameos that I knew to
Damn.
be in this episode.
Like an SNL rap
Yeah.
party. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Wow.
It was like a 25-minute episode, and I think that was my most expensive. I just did a sci-fi, and that was also quite pricey because the
Whoa.
further you get from our time period, the more things cost, whether you're going in the past or the future. Because like you can't just use a can or a cell phone. Everything has to be started. Like
Right.
the 80s are okay because you can use a lot of the same furniture, but then you start getting to the 50s or the 20s or the 1800s. You know,
I never thought about that.
So like a
It's true,
sci-fi,
yeah.
everything
Cars, everything.
Everything has to be handmade.
Yeah.
Because even the sets, this guy Aiden created this beautiful spaceship sets with multiple rooms and all these things, and everything had to be something that doesn't exist in this world. So like
Yeah.
even a phone has to be a communicator of some kind, right?
Yeah.
And then when we're outside, we had to go all the way out in Lancaster because it looked, we had to find something that looked
Sci-fi, yeah,
alien, so in the
Yeah.
desert.
That's where they filmed the moon landing out there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We never made it to the moon.
I was gonna say, I saw a stiff flag just sitting there. I was like, "What is that?" Oh my god! I would never be an astronaut. Do you think there's been gay sex in space yet?
Not yet.
Oh.
I don't think so. They said that you can't really get a boner in space.
Really?
Yeah, because like the blood flows into such different directions. So it's
Wow.
like, how would you tape it to a stick? I guess.
Wow.
There's got to be a pose you could do to get the
Yeah.
blood going there.
Well, you can get
Yeah.
that Trimex shot. That thing. Have you heard about that?
I heard. Yeah, I have some friends who do pornography,
Oh.
and I heard that they have to shoot that thing.
I've seen
under
it.
the
So
dick.
Wow.
I have a crazy story then.
Under the dick, like at the where it meets the balls.
Yep. There's a guy who came over maybe it was over a year ago, but I don't know. He comes in and I didn't know what the hell this shit was. I thought it was just like drug he was going to take, like poppers or something. He was He's like, oh, can I take my Trimex? And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, just like I drank a little bit much and like, I want to make sure I'm at my full, whatever. I was like, sure, whatever that means, hit your poppers, whatever. And like, I take a drink and I turn around and I see him with the syringe in his hand. And like, I'm like, I hate needles at Jet. I fucking hate needles. And I just literally see him like shove this thing in and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I thought he was doing meth, to be honest with you. I was like, you just shot meth into your penis right now. You know what I mean? Because I had no idea what the shit
If
was.
that thing doesn't get hard, fuck you.
Yeah, and then it got hard, but then it got too hard. Like it was like I was just like, what? Like there's no movement to it. It was just I was like, can you even like come with it, or is it just like now it's just like a prosthetic? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it depends. Because I guess it swells up so much that it'll actually like close your urethra off. So like. And I'm like, there's no fun in that. At that point, like it's like you're using a strap on. Like, what the fuck is this? I don't want this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I threw him out. And then I felt bad. I'm like, you just shot yourself with a dick. You're gonna be driving to your car. My neighbor's gonna see you, but get the fuck out.
It's so like it's taking the most repulsive thing and putting it with the most sexual. It's like you know what I mean? Needles to me are like the least appealing. So to mesh that, it does make me cringe when I hear about like especially porn actors who have to do that. I'm like, oh, but you know what? If people are fine with needles, more power to them.
Yeah.
And I think my tolerance for needles has actually gone down as I've gotten older. When I was a kid,
I almost
like,
always
go
pass
for
out.
it.
Yeah, every time I go, because for prep or whatever, you have to do your shit. Every time they're like, do you like needles? I'm like, nope, I'm probably gonna pass out. And they're like, ah, fuck. So then they give me the smallest needle, which sucks because it also takes the longest amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's like, but they'll sit there and I'm like, ah, fuck. I hate it. I cannot do
I
it.
hate that shit. Yeah, and sometimes you get a nurse who's like, and if you're a nurse watching this, you gotta be gentle with needles. We don't like getting poked. We don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, my anxiety is for other reasons. I'm just like, oh. It's not necessary for the needle. It's just like, oh, girl, that result, honey. She's
Oh my
bad.
gosh. She's a hypochondriac though. She'll literally kiss someone and be like, I have chlamydia. I'm like, oh, girl.
Yeah, no. And I usually
You're probably
always
right,
do
but
have
still.
chlamydia. Yeah, and it sucks. It's happened too many times. But question, so when you were blowing up, did everyone around you, were they all supportive, or did you have some like secret haters? Did you have some falling outs?
I had a little bit of that, but you know
Really?
what? All of I had two. I can think right now of two friends who basically were like, "This isn't you. You don't.
You've
like,
changed.
You've changed.
Yeah.
This isn't." And it's like a little bit. I mean, a little bit you do change because when you get famous, you become aware of your brand.
Yeah.
And every person I know that once they step in the spotlight, there is a little bit of zhuzhing up they do.
Of course.
For sure.
And it doesn't mean that that's any less authentic of a version of yourself as
No,
the
for
zhuzhing up
sure.
you do when you go to church, go to the office, when you go take your family, your in-laws out for dinner. We all put on different versions of ourselves. When you get famous, it's perfectly natural to come up with a more polished version of yourself to be on camera. Yeah. And, people who grew up with me were like, this is or because I also lost the weight too when I got famous. So they're like, you're getting Hollywood's gotten to you. You're getting thin, and you're probably doing it with meth, and I was accused of losing weight in every which way you could think.
This is before Ozempic too.
This is before Ozempic, so like you're poking and choking. And anyway, that was really. But all those two people, the ones I could think of, have since apologized and we're very good friends now.
Yeah. That's good.
But there was a bit of that and even my family too. They didn't like it when I lost the weight.
Really?
And I kind of learned then, I was like, okay, I'm losing the weight for me. That's ultimately like I'm the one who's editing my own footage. I have to stare at myself.
Yeah.
I want to look at someone I'm happy with when I'm doing this. And so,
Yeah.
I worked really hard to lose weight, and that did suck. You bust your ass trying to get in shape, and people just tell you that you're doing it wrong or you shouldn't be doing it. And it, so yeah, I learned very quickly, like,
Did you notice the world treated you different when you lost the weight?
I did.
In a fucked up way, yeah.
And you can ask anyone else who's lost weight; they'll agree. Like
for sure.
everyone
I
I've
agree.
talked to, that
Yeah.
know, because people do treat you. I mean, we are a society that's offended by out of shape people, and I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah.
Other societies aren't like that.
Yeah.
Other societies will value an individual on like talent or what they're capable of doing or who they are on the inside. But we, especially in LA, we live in this world where 90% of what gets you into a production or accepted in it's how you present yourself.
Sure. Yeah, and it's hard because I studied acting growing up, and I remember it was like a quote that Meryl Streep talked about, and it was like how you have to eliminate all forms of vanity when you're performing.
Yes.
For sure. So it's like, when it comes to comedy, this or that. But when I lost all that weight and then I started, dabbling in cosmetic surgery and this and that was sort of a moment where I started noticing the world was starting to treat me a little different. And then I became hyper aware of how I looked, and I became more obsessed with how I looked. And then that was where the vanity took over my life. And I felt like I wasn't able to bring the authenticity, the art, the this, the that, because I was so hyper aware of like, I want to look a certain way. I don't want to be crazy and all that. So recently I've had to go through that kind of like ego death and like lose that sense of myself and kind of put out content on the internet that I feel like is not, the perfected, and it is a bad angle and it is this, but it's more real.
Yeah, I think audiences are smart, and they can. An audience can always tell when you're holding back, especially people who are vain.
Yeah.
When you see someone who is very aware of how they look when they're acting,
Yeah.
there is like an element. There's something. It's a little uncanny valley. There's something not right with this performance, and there is something so beautiful about someone who just lets it out. Like when you see, I'm trying to think. Think of an actor or an actress who's like gorgeous and they just let themselves ugly cry for a scene. That is so much more powerful because we know you're pretty.
Yeah.
Like we know that this now ugly cry or freak, because when you forget when you're in real life, when you are having a conversation that's serious and not pleasant, you're not thinking, well, how do I look in this moment? You're just, it's coming from here.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for me, even today when I just put out a video this weekend and I had to play this kind of a nerd character and he's not very attractive. And even editing it, I kind of a little bit had to be like, nope, that's your ego. Because there are some takes where I am genuinely funnier than in other takes where I look better.
Yeah.
And then I have to go through, do I really care that much about what I look like, or am I going to use a take where I was funnier? And to this day, at least every video I make, there's at least one bit where I have to choose between which one do I want. And I think in the long run, if you're going to watch that video again in the future, you're going to want the one where you feel like you performed better.
Yeah.
So but yeah,
That's cool. That's a good thought. I like that.
I don't think that feeling will ever go away. It hasn't for me.
Yeah.
You still, you are hyper
because
aware
you do. It's like, you lose all the weight and then all of a sudden everyone's like, oh my God, you look so happy. You look so great. You look so this, you want this. And it's like, it's so fucked up because then it puts you in that head of like, I have to be the best version, but all the time. And it's like, I can't have that piece of cake. I can't do this. I can't do that. And it's like, no, you still have to live life and enjoy life too.
Yeah.
And then that's sort of, situations where like in my case where like I went through something happened where I gained 30 pounds randomly. And then it was like,
you got the abortion.
The abortion was really bad. But no, and then it was like, oh no, I'm like, but letting go of that is very important too.
It is, but it's also easier said than done.
It is.
It's like I'm preaching to the choir. I wish I could let that go sometimes. And it's hard. I mean, I really have to. People think I'm more confident than I am. But, I'm playing characters because at least I don't have to take credit for what they look like.
Yeah.
That's not, it is a mask at the end of the day. And I feel like the further from me they look, the more I can be crazy and bombastic because then I'll just follow it up with a post the next day of me doing like a thirst pic at the
Yeah.
gym or something like that. You know, and then,
Yeah.
like, here's me without the mask, everyone. Remember what this guy looks like.
Yeah.
Now you walked in, I was like, trade boobs. I was like, living.
Yeah, it's because comedy isn't inherently like an attractive. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, people are attracted to feeling good and laughing, and
Yeah.
you know, but a lot of like looking good is not a forefront ingredient to comedy, and I really appreciate actors who are very beautiful and still are very funny.
So for anyone who is getting into influencing, right, what is some advice that you'd like to give them, or actually you'd like to give us? Because we're pretty new to influencing.
You know, I'd say the trick to doing anything on the internet and getting viewers, I think, is just doing what you love.
Yeah.
Making sure that you love it. Like every video I make I'm making it for me.
Yeah.
And I think the people who have found success on YouTube do it with a passion that is very personal. A lot of the people, like I work with an animator, Vivian Medrano, who has a show on Amazon and has a show on like one of the biggest animations on YouTube ever. And she became this very successful animator through just loving her gift of storytelling, loving, you know, her ability to create these characters. She never got into it to be famous. And I think the most common ingredient to a lot of the people who have made it is that they did something they genuinely cared about.
Yeah.
Because like I said, audiences can see that. They can see when you're not fully there with it. And I think as long as you keep it fun and you keep loving it, because YouTubers get burnt the fuck out. They do, because you realize, oh, I got famous for this. Oh, I have to do this every week. Oh my God. You know, if it's something you love, then you're just like, okay, next week, what's it going to be?
Did you ever have like an era where you were just like, you felt unmotivated, you wanted to give up, you were just like, fuck this, dude?
Kind of, yeah. I was trying everything. It was during the vlog era, and I thought, well, maybe sketch comedy isn't what sells on YouTube. Maybe I should try vlogging, and I did that, and it was just soulless. It was soulless, and then I was becoming a version of myself that still wasn't authentic. And it's like, well, I'm not playing a character, but this isn't who I am either. Why am I filming this shit? And of course, it didn't get views. My heart wasn't in it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started doing these character sketches that, you know, that's what took off, and that's what I cared about the most. And I think people can sense that extra bit of love that you put into a project when it means something to you. So. Yeah, I'd say just don't fall out of love with it. You know, keep it. And if you are falling out of love with it, like, well, what's the version of it that I do love? Like, what do I change or fix?
Yeah.
So, I will say the age we're living in now is one I would have creamed my little teenage pants when I learned if I learned about, because I thought that making YouTube videos was just a hobby back then. It was just something that was for fun, and if I have time to do it after school, I'll do it. And now it's like people are chasing it as a career.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's crazy.
So cool.
Literally so wild.
Do you think that sometimes it's easier to use characters to hide behind to avoid being cringy?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Like that's,
because I watched all of your shit, and it's funny that if it was just you, it would probably be very cringe. But when you have that character to hide behind, like it's just like it's funny as fuck, you know? Because I worry about cringe. I don't know. Like I try to make genuine content, but then I try to be funny, but then I'm like, oh, is that cringy? So like I hold back, like you said earlier. So like, and people see that I hold back because they call it out in the comments. They're like, oh, you can tell he's not doing this, he's not doing that, and I'm like, So
I read somewhere, or someone told me, like, you have to be a little bit cringe to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
There has to be a level of almost like what you were saying, like you can't be worried about what you look like. When you're, there has to be a level of, this might be cringe, but fuck it. I love it. You know?
I had to get over that real quick.
And I think there's an element of, when people, there's an element of cringe that people are drawn to, because it's vulnerability. When you're cringy, it's you're showing, it's you not having all your guards up.
It's true.
Also, I think people, they're just very, very smart, and I think that doing something you love, whether it's cringy or not, like you know that on all levels except physical, I am a wolf. You know that video? I admire that person so much because of how they don't give a fuck who they are. They're probably bullied constantly,
for sure.
and I admire them so much more because of that. So I do use my characters to hide behind something, but that's not all. I mean, I'm also just boring. Like no one would care about me, you know, but a woman running, Fortune 500 who kills people, or a little Mexican kid with his friend at home and they kill the burglars, or the characters are such bombastic depictions of types of people in our society. I'm a dime a dozen I'm another YouTuber at home. I do not find my life interesting enough. So that's also part of it too, is I don't think I'm interesting enough to create a fantasy around, but I can create people who and it's all drag, it's just like I'm creating this version of this character that doesn't exist, and this is how they talk, how they walk, it is, you're paying homage to a type of person,
And do you do full backstory, full everything?
For everything. I mean,
wow.
The character, I'll start the character as a sketch, and if the sketch does well, I'll do a part 2 and part 3, and then eventually the character well enough to start giving them lore. It's all mold. It all grows very organically like a spider web. And, it's not like I started at the beginning, there's going to be 40 characters and they're related to each other in this way.
Yeah.
In a way that I don't think Marvel does that either. I don't think DC does that. I think most anthology or universe building things, American Horror Story, whatever, they're not planning all that from the start.
Right.
It grows, and then you get to know these characters, you get to give them lore, and you so on and so forth. So and in a way you have to think of them as real people. They are characters, but they're real to me.
Yeah.
And they come from real places within me. And so they are part mask, but that's not the whole thing. I mean, they're also vessels of public what do you call it? Like expression.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they're all versions of me expressing myself.
Yeah, which one of his
Good, I don't have to get
characters
hard.
turned you on the most? The grandpa? Grandpa turns him on the most.
Grandpa turns them on. I like doing Grandpa. I don't have to get hard when we do that role play.
Oh my god!
No, maybe some actors do that. I do wonder. Like,
oh my god!
If
I just
actors,
imagine the scene real quick. You go to suck a dick, and you're like, oh, that just triggered. It's the trigger the Vietnam flashback. I'm dead.
Oh my god!
Damn. Yeah. It does feel a little bit like shooting porn when we're on one of my sets because
I can imagine.
And a lot of times we use sets that porn is shot on, and in fact, several times my cast and crew will be sitting there waiting outside the room
in the leather chair
while we're just waiting for them to literally come.
Wow!
And we're just sitting there. You're hearing everything, and we'll order Uber Eats to kill the time. So we're just eating pizza and listening to sex happening.
Wow!
And then they clean up the room. We go in and we film it.
Yep.
Recently we did one, and there was a furry thing happening.
Shit. Yeah.
And so we were in 2 stages next to each other, and when they were on break, they would come over and watch what we were doing. And we were on break. We'd go.
That's wild.
But
wow.
Yeah, it was, and they'd walk into our set with like half a fursuit on, and
wow.
So yeah, it does feel like very porny what we do, and my videos do feel like the prelude to a porn, like when they're right before they're about to fuck. Except they never do.
Yeah, you have a very interesting color scheme across the board. Like it's dramatic. You use a lot of purples, I noticed, and blues, which is cool.
I'm very cognizant of the colors that are whether it's costumes, the set, how the costumes play off of the set. I learned that from Matt Groening, actually, on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
He said that he wanted the reason The Simpsons look the way they do with the big eyes and the yellow skin and the cause it's so when someone's channel surfing,
they'll stop.
If you go past it, you know what you saw. That was The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And I thought that my videos, I'm like, well, what would a animated version of live action look like? And so I just crank up the saturation, like the color. I mean, even on the sets that we have, everything's already very vibrant and colorful.
Wow.
And then the camera style is also. I always have the camera person act a little drunk, so it's always kind of like this weird. Everything's in motion, sort of, and so it all adds one vibe, right? It's all to give one sense of feeling.
I shoot a lot of her OnlyFans content, and it's funny because I see what you do with yours, and I've actually incorporated into some of the OnlyFans because she'd ask the question, like we do JOIs, jerk off instructions, and she'll be like, "Do you like that?" And I'll like tilt the camera forward as if it's a nod.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Or it's like, have you been a bad boy, or do you want this? And like the camera will just have a tiny bit of motion, but it adds so much depth to the clip. You know what I mean?
What is that? What you is? I just have to ask. Is that what you do? Is it POV stuff?
Yeah.
So you talk to the camera as if it's a person, because like the person buying it wants to make sure that
feel like
it's you're
they're
talking to
there.
me. So it's just like, you know, a JOI is like the most requested. It's a jerk off instruction video. It's like a 7-minute video that ends with a countdown as a cum scene, but it's just like, oh, have you been a bad boy? It's not like, it's very much like, and it's like, yes. Do you want mommy to do this? Yes. Do you like this? No. And like, you know what I mean? And then it ends with them. So she looks at the camera the entire time. So it's,
That is so cool.
Well, yeah, that's why I could say it's relatable with yours being like a porn. It is very much filmed that way. Because I remember back when I first saw your first clip, which I think was the one with the kids playing in the background, and that entire thing was filmed in first person. You know,
Yes,
and it gave me a lot of really good ideas with that too.
I've been meaning to do more videos like that. There's something really fun about a first person.
I love a first person.
Yeah.
Especially now with camera tech, where you can actually put the camera on your chest or do a 3D. Because I mean, right now all the rage is like VR porn. You know what I mean? If you can get a 360 camera, it'd be fun to do a POV with a 360 camera. It would be pretty wild because it gives you all the aspects. You know?
Yes, I've been fucking around with 360 cams lately, and that is so cool because you can theoretically edit your project after you shoot it.
Yep.
You can choose what shot is looking.
Yep.
And I just put a camera right here. I'm like, I could decide when I want to cut to her, cut to me.
Wow.
Cut to, you know, and it's.
I
like,
thought about our live camera being that, but the studio's a little backstyle.
but also, I feel like we're not quite at the age yet because an hour of it's like 8K footage.
It really is.
And so like an
we
hour
already
of that,
blow through terabytes of. I'm like,
but you know, in 10 years, this shit's gonna be so easy.
Yeah.
The technology's going so fast. It's just for now, but you
Yeah.
know, a terabyte's gonna fit in your urethra in 10 years. So.
Exactly. Shit. Well, do you have any questions for us, darling?
I think I've asked just about all of them. Remind me, you're from Dallas. Remember where you're from again?
I'm from here, San Diego, all over the
So
place.
you have California vibes for sure.
Yeah, so.
And I love people from Texas.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
really
they're so
Everything's
sweet.
bigger in Texas.
Everything's bigger, and they're just Texans are like the Australians of America. They just have thicker skins, and they're
very
you know, when it comes to
nice.
comedy,
Yeah.
Texas is a great. I used to do stand up all the time in Texas, and some of my best crowds were like Dallas, Austin, Houston. Yeah, so no, that's so cool.
Texas people know how to have fun.
They
that's
do.
for sure.
I admire that, and it's the only place that I've seen in our country where they have 80-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Yeah. Love
They
that.
know how to go
Amazing
fast.
barbecue.
Yeah, good food. And when you go out to dance, you go out to dance. Like you don't walk out of the club until you're fully sweating.
Yeah.
Out in LA, I'm like, oh girl, you just stand and pose.
It's very standing pose out here.
Yeah, and take photos.
Do you have a favorite club that you go to here?
Oh, out here?
In LA, yeah.
Oh, out here. Probably just like Beaches Tropicana to hang out with Anthony. Yeah.
I like
But
Beaches
other than
Tropicana.
that, like I don't, yeah. I'll go to like tenants here, but I'm not like
Tenants.
going crazy or
Yeah.
like jumping up and down. No.
We're going to meet one of these days. We're going to run into each other.
I'm down. But in Texas, I love going to the Roundup Saloon.
That's my favorite. That is my
favorite.
favorite gay bar in the whole country.
Mine too.
It's massive.
So huge. Hot country boys dancing. Yeah,
And
it's all fun.
it's like 6 bars in one. 'Cause
No,
you have all those
literally.
rooms in the front, and then that big room in the middle, and then the double-decker
Right.
patio on the outside.
Yeah.
And then the 2-story bar across the street from that on the corner.
S4. Yeah, that was
That one.
That was the first drag show I've ever been to.
Really?
Yeah. I remember I would go when I was 18 years old. I was trying to figure out who I was as like little, whatever the fuck I was at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember we would go in and they put X's on our hands and we'd go
Yeah.
in the bathroom and lick them off and then go back out and get drinks. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they had the Rose Room upstairs, which is where they like one of their biggest drag shows. And that was when I
Yeah.
saw drag for the first time. I was like,
Really?
whoa, this is wild. Yeah, because I was very sheltered.
Yeah.
Yeah, very sheltered. So
Tu Wong Fu, hello.
and I was like, whoa, this is wild. Yeah.
That is insane. I'm taking my boyfriend there this weekend. I'm going to take him to Roundup.
You're gonna love it. It's so fun.
Hey.
I think drinks are like literally like $5. Like it's
And the
so
people are
cheap.
so nice.
So
too.
nice.
It's like
So
a very,
nice.
very, very kind of a rugged cowboy crowd, but they're
Yeah.
very friendly.
Very sweet.
Very
yeah.
sweet.
Good queso. Gotta get the queso when you're in Texas. Gotta have the queso.
I just did a show in El Paso. And they've got some good fucking Mexican
Oh
food
yeah.
out there.
Yeah, for
nice.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
I just love it. Texas in general. I can go to any city and get something good. They just know what they like to eat.
Yeah.
And they have so much shit that's just in Texas. They like
Yeah.
to keep their shit good
Yeah.
kept. Their
Yeah.
HEB and Whataburger
Yeah.
and fucking Big Reds.
I've never been. I guess I gotta go.
HEB. Oh my God. It's
No Texas.
You have to get a honey butter chicken biscuit if you ever go to Whataburger.
Oh.
And you know if you're from Texas, if you call it Water Burger, because it's what a burger, but
Yeah,
people from
Whataburger
Texas
is
call it
what-
Water Burger. Yeah, that's what we call it. Yeah.
Interesting.
You would
Yeah.
love it. You would
All right,
honestly love it.
it makes me feel ashamed that we have In-N-Out.
Oh no.
And no shade against. Well, actually, yeah, a lot of shade against In-N-Out. Y'all have given me such bad indigestion. Your fries suck,
oh no.
and your burgers taste like.
you gotta get an animal style though.
I do like animal style.
Okay.
But
No, you like doggy style. That's
I like
not
doggy
the same
style.
thing.
Yes.
That's not
What?
the same
You can't have animal style for doggy style. That would be crazy.
Oh my God.
That's pretty wild.
They do have good shakes though. In-N-Out, I will say, their shakes will kick my ass.
Yeah.
Well,
my God.
with that being said, this is time for Shayan's favorite part of the episode. All right, so we don't know what this says, so
We're gonna play Wheel of Torture. We still haven't come up with a name.
We
Should we call
haven't.
it Wheel of Torture?
perfect.
Okay, period.
All right, you can go ahead and spin it first.
All
Darla.
right.
Yes.
Oh, that was no. I only get a
What?
good
You
spin.
so
There we go.
muscles.
This one says, "Wow, you have terrible writing."
Or it might have been my writing.
what's your favorite drag queen?
Oh, that was yours.
You know, I gotta be loyal. I gotta go with Jinx Monsoon.
Monsoon.
Just
Cute.
or Cornbread Jeté. Cornbread Jeté, because I work with both of them, and I can't play favorites. Jinx and Cornbread, and they're so different. They're such different flavors.
God,
Okay,
yes.
I love that.
What about you? What
I'd
drink?
say I love. That's tough because I know a lot of them personally too.
Yeah.
So
And
like,
how do you compare them? They're
yeah,
so
Miss
different.
Vanjie has always been wild to me, like absolutely wild. Trixie Mattel, Willem. There's so many. I don't know.
Raja,
Ooh.
favorite. Willem, also love, and then Mistress Isabella Brooks. I
Oh,
love
yes.
because I love the glamour. She
Oh,
brings.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jessica
yeah.
Wilde too. I like
Oh,
Jessica
yeah,
Wilde.
yeah,
She's a good one. For
Yeah.
Me.
It's so, the more
I
you
put my
think of
fingers in
them,
her
it's like
butthole.
there's so many. Every year there's an iconic several that come out, and I'm like, oh gosh, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird. It's weird that drag is still like niche overall in like the grand scheme of things because it's here in LA. It just seems so commonplace.
Literally.
It's like football.
Almost too
Yeah.
commonplace.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, sometimes I need to tone it down. Some people need to go back to drag school and then start performing. I'm like,
Right, right,
Jesus
right,
Christ,
right.
you can't just throw on a wig.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, no, but yeah, I think Raja was probably the first time I ever saw someone that was just like punk and like cool, but like artsy, and then like Marie Antoinette look like just so sick. I
Yeah.
live.
All right, let's see it, Shayan. We need like a
Have
background
you ever
song.
stole something?
Yes, all the
Okay.
Target. I always shoplift
Yeah.
from Target. You know, I at this, you know, when I was a teenager, I stole because I didn't have money.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, you learn that stealing is something. It's you do it for yourself. You do it because it feels good.
Yeah.
Have you ever stole someone's boyfriend
Whoa.
Have I stolen
or husband?
No, I don't think I have. No.
Same. You can't wreck a happy home.
Well, you can't
Oh my God, Anthony. I stole. Do you guys remember the Aristocats?
yes.
Okay.
You must learn your notes and your art pet. They had a Thomas O'Malley cat plushie that came with the. I'm gonna age myself. Came with the VHS in a box set. And I got it, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited!" But I was looking at Thomas O'Malley. I was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna be alone. He needs a friend." So I literally punched a hole through another one and took out the Thomas O'Malley and put it in my jacket. Took it home with me. Yeah, and
That's where her
my
anger issues come from.
no, and I had two, and my parents were like, "What?" And then my mom was like, threatened me, and was just like, "I'm gonna call the cops on you. You're gonna have to go apologize." And I'm like, "No."
That's where the trauma stems from.
Oh my God! Did they make you apologize?
No, but they just threatened.
Yeah, fuck that. No one got hurt in that situation.
Yeah, no. Right?
I stole someone's cat one time. and-
Actual cat.
Yeah, I never gave it back to them. Cause like I thought that they were like didn't treat it well. They would never bring it inside, and it was like such a cute cat. I was like, I didn't believe the cat should just be outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stole
No,
it.
that I understand. Like if I see a dog,
I lied to my mom too. I was like, yeah, it was a sad cat. It was wandering down the
Yeah.
middle of the street. No, it's because like I would always see it outside.
Yeah.
And I stole it.
If I see a dog chained out, rain, no, I'm stealing that dog.
No,
I'm
that
taking
shit
it.
pisses
Yeah.
me off. I just fostered a dog that was chained up outside. That was and it makes me so mad. If you're gonna have a pet, fucking be prepared to let that thing live with you fully. Otherwise,
Yeah.
don't own
Yeah,
one.
for
It
sure.
makes me so mad because
Their baby.
yeah, exactly. There's so many families that'd be willing to have a loving pet in their home with them, and then people will just chain that shit up outside.
You
But-
foster dog.
I did, yeah, as a pit bull, and I tried because I hate how people think pit bulls are dangerous. So I was like,
I'm terrified of pit bulls. Actually, no, I'm actually terrified.
oh, they're the sweetest. They're the sweetest dogs. I took so many pictures with them to like show my fans, like he's just a butterball.
Yeah.
But I still
Yeah.
keep up with him.
I just get a little scared of like dogs. A little. I mean, I love dogs. I mean, I have dogs. I've had them all my life. I sometimes get a little scared.
Oh, really? Yeah, I guess, I mean, yeah, every dog's different. You never know.
Every dog has its day. All right, what do we have here? Celebrity crush. I don't really have celebrity crushes. That's not true. I mean, I would say the Hemsworth brothers for sure. Like both of them together at the same time. Or maybe the White Lotus brothers, because that
The
was
White Lotus brothers.
really
They had
hot.
a crush on each other.
They really did. Why go across the street when you can go across the hall? That's what I always say.
That's oh my God! Do you know Jeff Buckley, the singer?
Yes.
I don't. What?
You remember
That's
Jeff
right.
Buckley?
Yeah, of
I thought
course.
he died.
Yeah.
But when he was alive, I thought he was like, it wasn't. Not that I thought he was attractive. I just loved his whole vibe.
Yeah.
He had such a moody
Yeah.
he was like blues type.
Yeah.
I don't need.
Okay.
It's not even a genre of music I like, but he
Yeah.
got me into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I've had any other crushes or any crushes at all, really.
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
One of your
about you.
characters.
Not necessarily celebrities, influencers. Yes.
Oh my
I got a
God.
few. And Anthony saw me at Coachella being like, hey. Yeah.
Boy, I'm curious.
But one of them I talked to, and I was obsessed with him.
Carrington.
Oh my God, yeah. I think he's so cute. He's literally the cutest thing. Like if I literally dated someone that looked like that, I'll never complain ever again.
We'll try to put his picture up here.
I think he's perfect. No, I talked to him at Coachella, and I was like blushing. I thought he was so adorable. Who else? The Montana boy, Mark Estes, the one who dated Kristen Cavallari, put his photo out. 'cause
She knows
he's
all this
so
stuff. I
hot.
have no idea what she's talking about half the time.
Who else is so hot? Vinny Hacker.
Estes. I'm gonna look.
Yes, Vinny Hacker's really hot. Young Tommy Lee.
Jesus Christ.
Young Tommy Lee. I can see
Yes,
that.
and Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, when I was younger, I had a full fat crush on her. I was like, and I remember one of my best friends still to this day. That's how we met. It was because she looked like Reese Witherspoon, and I tried to date her, and she thought I was a stalker and weird, and she got this guy to like literally like threaten me. Yeah, and this guy Tate her, and he showed his dick to me in the bathroom. It was a whole thing. But yeah, she got him to like threaten me and be like, "Get away from her, freak." And then I joined theater, and she
And
thought I
definitely was a
joined.
stalker.
Yeah, she thought I joined theater because I was a stalker
She did.
and like stalking her. But then we eventually became best friends. We're still best friends to this day, and she still looks like Reese Witherspoon. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I had a full blown fat crush on her. I was like, I want to date her.
Oh my God. That That's insane. Reese Witherspoon, she's very beautiful. Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
There's a girl on Instagram who does a perfect impression of Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Have you seen her?
What?
Her whole Instagram is like Reese Witherspoon impression.
Hey.
I wish I knew her name.
Yeah. And then Tate Hearn got hit by a car, which she deserved. So.
Oh my gosh. Shayan, I swear.
Sorry.
That White Claw is hitting. If you want to spin, we'll do one more go
I
around.
will say it is nice when you see someone who deserves to get hit by a car just get
True.
struck. I didn't make it nice,
Yeah.
but it is nice.
All right, let's see it, darling. We'll do one more go around. Let's see it.
Let's see here. Celeb crush. Oh, should I spin it again?
Yeah, spin it again.
All right. Let's see here. Have you ever stolen? Nope.
We'll just do one more.
Okay. Do an impression of the
Person?
person.
Of the person next to you.
Oh, do her.
Of the person next to you. The person. I just met you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like, hey, what's up? Like,
Hey, what's up?
yeah. Voice higher, a little higher.
Shit. Let's take it back about 3 years. What's up, bro?
Oh my God. Impression of, who am I
Okay.
going to impress?
Impress?
Impersonate.
Impersonate.
Wait, you do your like voice, right? You're like your character.
Oh my! Wait.
It's
Which,
like
my British character.
yeah.
Those are just British noises.
Your turn.
With what?
I don't know who you gonna do. Jacob.
Dude, Jacob?
No, do him. Just kidding.
Well, Jacob can't say the letter G, so I don't know how I would
Oh.
say. I don't even know.
Fat.
I suck at impressions.
Fat. You're a fat.
I'm not fat.
My turn. Guilty pleasure.
Being a stalker.
No, being horizontal.
Shayan, we talked to Shayan and she literally will like. If you want to find out something about someone, you go to Shayan.
Yeah.
She
Oh.
will
No,
find out anything.
Everything.
So
Yeah.
if you guys ever break up and you want to get back at him, Shayan's the one.
No.
Shayan's the one that has all the dirt.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. Good to know.
No, but my guilty pleasure is being horizontal, though.
Yeah.
More than stalking. I enjoy being laying back. Yeah, just laying down.
That's. I wouldn't feel guilty about that. You know.
Yeah.
That's. Yeah.
What are your guilty pleasures?
What a guilty. Let me think. What is a? Oh, I just discovered Fortnite.
Oh, really?
I'm obsessed
You have
with
time for the
Really?
Fortnite?
No,
Jesus. I was gonna say
it's ruining my life.
Yeah.
but I'm getting so good at it.
Really?
Oh, you should stream it then.
Yeah.
Honestly,
You
and do
really
your
should.
characters.
Yeah.
That'd be phenomenal.
Wait,
I
that
think.
actually would be so good.
That would be fun.
should
Imagine you have Fortnite going on different screens, all with different characters, and you're just like
Whoa, that would be
pretending
sick.
to play yourself.
That
That'd
would
be
be
cute.
Wow.
That was,
That
I'm.
would be fair. Write that down. Yours.
Chocolate, dark chocolate.
Yeah.
I live for dark. I'm obsessed with eating dark chocolate. It's so bad.
Chocolate right in your black hole.
I come out to his kitchen and I'm like, what is all that? He has to set aside.
I have to like ration my chocolates because like I'll go through a whole thing so I have to set aside like 7 pieces. So throughout the day, it's almost like Miss Trunchbull. She had her little chocolates on the side. That was me.
Much too good for children. That's chocolate is it's a psychological thing. But chocolate, like it's like it is an actual drug.
Yeah, no,
Like it makes your brain light up in different ways.
yeah. No,
I
it's
had a
crazy.
chocolate problem in high school. I ate so much.
What was his
chocolate.
name?
Oh my god.
what the?
His name was Hershey, you asshole.
Oh my god.
Wait, are we just gonna keep spinning? I feel like we've done this.
This is the last.
Yeah, it's last one.
What's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll spin till we're good.
Yeah. Quote a movie. I think honestly it would just be like the white chicks. Or no, it'd be hot chicks actually. That whole like boys are cheats and liars. They're such a big disgrace. They will. You know what I'm talking about? With Rob Schneider.
In white? Oh no, this you said this is white chicks or it's
Hot chicks.
No, the hot chick.
Which Rob
hot
Schneider.
chicks.
Boys
Oh,
are cheats and-
is this the one where he is a teenage
He's like,
girl?
it's me,
Yeah.
Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. Holy shit, that is a deep cut.
That was one of my favorite movies growing up.
I can't think of a single movie quote. That's sad, or at least a good one. Oh, God, I can't think of. Are there any funny birthing scenes?
Birthing scenes.
I don't know. I think birthing scenes are pretty funny.
birthing scenes.
I don't know.
Like The Exorcist.
Exorcist is actually. Oh my God! You know, is there? I will say one of my favorite movies that I love the Human Centipede.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I knew any of the dialogue from it other than.
Yeah.
Oh,
What about he puts the lotion on its skin?
or my favorite line from Brokeback Mountain.
Oh yes.
That's a good one. That's a good quote.
And then straight people are like, "That's how gays fuck." They just spit and go full.
Yeah,
in.
after eating a full can of beans over an open fire, absolutely not.
No
What the
shower
fuck?
nearby?
No.
Like, hell no.
Jesus Christ, shitty kitty.
Oh my God.
Fucking scatty catty 5000. Nope. Not today, sir.
That thing was painted.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
Oh my
Deny thy
day.
father, refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not be but sworn, my love, and I shall no longer be a Capulet. What's in a name? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. Yeah, I don't know. I could.
Just that. That's all.
How
do
did you?
Shakespeare, what?
How did? Where did you memorize?
I don't
that?
know. It's just a tick.
The longest
no,
tick
I
in
I
history.
loved Shakespeare growing up.
Really?
Loved Shakespeare. I know most people hate him. I loved him growing up.
That's
Is that random?
insane. That is
It's a
very
random
random.
fact
You do
to-
not strike me as
My
a.
dream role is to play Lady Macbeth in a movie, whatever.
Oh my God!
Because she goes fucking insane. I want to play that.
Macbeth. That was the first play I ever did.
Yeah. Oh my
Macbeth.
god.
I did not enjoy.
Yeah.
When I was thou thus this and thither.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were saying.
Yeah.
But it was fun because there's
Yeah.
violence and sex. And
Yeah.
all these crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved Romeo and Juliet. And yeah.
You think Shakespeare was one of those overachieving gays that we talked about earlier?
Probably.
I get the sense that he was,
Yeah.
just judging by
sure.
the writing and how revolutionary he was. in the way he
Yeah.
dressed.
Yeah.
And that phase, you know that that collar saw some dicks.
Yeah.
That ruffled fucking shit.
Yeah. Semen stains.
Yeah, that's why
For
it's white.
sure.
You can never tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh my
Brandon, we're
gosh.
so glad you came out.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Come again anytime. On
Yes.
her
Come
face,
on.
not mine.
Oh, okay.
But thank you. That's all, folks.
If you want to watch more fucked up shit,
Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Oh, you got
Bye.
your slogan. That's good.
we got it.